Two screens, two different views. That's what we're all about. Welcome to Dual Screen Radio, where listening is good.
This is Shane R. Monroe.
And this is Chris Hentschel.
Yeah, and welcome to Dual Screen Radio. We're back with our regular set of hosts here, myself, and of course the magical, mystical Mr. Mistopheles. Chris Hentschel.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you back.
It's wonderful to be back. Last month I couldn't make it. I was with the Easter Bunny while Shane and Alex Lopez from We Minute Radio stepped in to help out. So.
And when we say he was with the Easter Bunny, we mean it in a biblical sense.
I was sacrificing my son to his lap, yes.
That's right. And God only knows who's in the Easter Bunny outfit, to be honest with you.
Well, it looked like it may have been a chick at least. So.
Really? Oh, that's hot.
Yeah. A little small on the small side, unless it was an 11-year-old boy.
Well, it could go either way. Hey, we got a great show here for you. We're doing sort of an ad hoc show. We didn't know if we were going to have an opportunity to record, so we've got a bunch of topics. We're just going to jump all over the place. We won't have a regular format this time, but we'll return next month with that. The big news, I guess, Chris, is you got a DSi.
Yeah, I got a DSi, and the thing is, last month I couldn't chime in. I've been using that word a lot today with my thoughts on the little thing because I was little out of sorts, and Alex had to help me out. So it's kind of cool now. I can maybe give my 2 cents worth after the fact, even though I think it's been out. Has it been out a month yet? No, almost a month. It'll be in a month. What, next week? Next month or something? Or next week, right? Next month, jeez. So I don't know what to really think about it so far. It's a cool little, I like it and everything. I think, of course I had to get it. It's my most played system. So it only made sense to kind of upgrade to it, considering it's what I play the most. Even though it's a little high on the price tag. It's got a few things that overall, if I was coming in from scratch, I guess, if I didn't have a prior DS system, I'd probably be a little more, on the, impressed side of it. But right now, it just feels like more like old hat. I open it up. Okay, it's the DS. It's got a few extra little things in there. You want me to go into some of the things I think are interesting about it? Does that sound good?
Are you kidding? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
We've already had we've had our big review last week, but I was always more critical, obviously, of the system. In the forums, I didn't know what Nintendo was really going to be doing with this thing.
Sure.
DSi, they were talking about how the eye is the camera, now that we can see you.
We heard you, now we can see you.
Correct, yes. We could hear and you could speak, and now you can see. A couple little things right off the bat, hardware wise. I'm digging the screens now. They're not as noticeable to me. I'm just going to go kind of fly through this. We've already had a big discussion on, last month rather. So everybody kind of knows at this point what to expect. But me being the critical bastard of the group, it seems, the screens are pretty noticeable at first. I'm kind of starting to get used to them now. The brightness levels, the same thing. I don't put it on this super, blinding, retina damaging brightness, pretty much at all. That's only really good in direct sunlight anyway, I think. I've been finding that level 2 and 3 are pretty decent for during the day, everyday gameplay. But in bed at night, the very least brightness, it's pretty much similar to what you're going to have in the light. So, I kind of think that's nice. It looks good. The extra brightness in there, I don't know how much I'm going to really use it. I never even really used the high brightness on my light before, so I don't know if I'm going to really use it as much on the DSi for that matter.
Right.
But the size of the screens, right off the bat, yeah, I noticed it, but now not so much. After the few weeks rather, I've been playing with the thing. I've gotten accustomed to them. I notice things just don't seem as sharp. I don't know why. I guess maybe because the pixels are a little fatter, but some stuff just doesn't look as sharp as it did on the DS Lite. I know some people are complaining about how their screens are a little more on the yellowish side. I'm happy to report mine hasn't been. I got the black one because now that I think about it, I'm wondering if I should have gotten the blue because black is such a generic color. Everything's black. My PSP is black. My iTouch is black. So, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have gotten the Powder Puff Blue like Alex did. But now I look at it, and the dust isn't bothering me whatsoever. I love that there's no fingerprints. It's almost like I'm touching chalk. So that's kind of cool. I've noticed that the size of it, I don't know what it is, but I guess just maybe the width of it tends to cramp my hand a little more. Have you noticed anything like that with the cramping?
I've noticed that I haven't felt the cramping from the width, but I have felt it's the difference in the thickness right. Of the unit. Yeah. I seem to have my fingers closer together.
Yeah, you know what? That might be it. Yeah,
I think that's what it's causing.
Tension there, and
yeah, just a little bit. But then I haven't done any real marathon type long-term gaming. I mean, I haven't sat and played the DSi for more than maybe 40 minutes. So since I've gotten it, not like the old days where I was playing Etrian Odyssey for like 4 freaking hours straight. It's not like one of those sort of,
I'm noticing it in bed, especially. Maybe gravity's kind of playing a little bit of a role in that too.
Right.
But I get like this pinching feeling right between my index and my thumb. I mean, I think it's just getting older and playing these games, like my hand's starting to cramp into that position of holding a controller, and it's like a setting, I guess, in my fingertips. I don't know. But, anyway, I think you're right though. It is probably the thickness. I mean, I don't notice it with my light at all. Yeah. So it's gotta be the thick, and you know what? It's mainly, that's the other thing. That's the main part of where I feel the cramping is when I'm holding it with my left hand and I'm using the right hand for the stylus.
Right.
For stylus gaming, like, I don't know, Brain Age or whatever, things like that. Anything where you have to hold the DS with your left hand and then your stylus with your right hand and for the whole game, So that's where I tend to be feeling that pinch a little bit more. The buttons, the D-pad is especially freaky. It's a lot tighter.
It's a lot tighter.
It's not as mushy at all. It's not mushy whatsoever, actually. It almost feels like you have to click those diagonals now.
Yeah.
It's not as raised. It barely feels like it moves at all.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to feel about it. I still agree with pretty much the consensus, though, that the GBA Micro, I feel, has probably the best D-pad on all these portables so far. It really is nice. I've been playing the Micro a lot lately because the DSi, I mean, it has no GBA port, of course. So I've been playing some GBA on my Micro. But at the same time, I've been trying to make some parallels between the various D-pads of these systems. And the Micro is just, man, it just feels so much better. Speaking with the D-pad, it's almost like a mix of the two. It's not quite as squishy or inaccurate as the Lite was. Because I think a lot of people were complaining that the DS Lite had a little bit of an inaccuracy, especially to the diagonals. Yeah. The buttons themselves, ABXY, I mean, they're pretty decent. Once again, they're not as raised, and they're a little more, cone shape rather than I don't know. It's a little hard to explain. But they don't feel like they depress as much. There's not a lot of clack, clack, clack to them.
Yeah.
Even when you shake the system. Remember the Lite? You'd shake it and it would rattle like crazy. I mean, from the even the volume shift there with the shifter for the volume, the little what would you call it? Slider, I guess.
Yeah.
Even that would rattle a little bit. But even the buttons on the DS Lite would kind of rattle and give a little bit of feedback. But on this, everything's just nice and tight. The screen itself doesn't click anymore. There's no more clicking. I'm assuming it's because they probably straightened up the hinge a little bit.
God, I hope so.
But at the same time, I've noticed when I pull the DSi out of my pouch, and speaking of which, it's a pouch that I found at Target on clearance for $2.99.
Nice.
It's this little Velcro. It's like a sleeve with a little lid on it. It's really nice. It's pretty form factored. Now it's for the Lite, but the DSi fits right in there. There's actually an extra centimeter of space. So, but whenever I try to pull it out, it feels like the top lid kind of shifts just a very little. I mean, I don't know. I've been reading online that actually it seems like that's normal.
Yeah, mine does that too.
Okay, yeah. I'm assuming this is all because of the cracked hinge, problem that they've had in the past. There's been a lot of problems with the DS Lite's cracked hinging, and I'm assuming this is all cosmetic changes and mechanical changes to help fix that up. I'm sure Nintendo's heard a lot of crap from that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that they got that, and I like how it's nice and smooth when it opens. But I am kind of actually, I guess maybe it's because something like WarioWare Snapped, you kind of have to adjust it a little bit to get the right angle.
Right.
So you probably don't have those incremental little snaps anymore. So that's cool. I mean, I like that. As long as it stays in position, which it does, it's pretty firm. It doesn't want to slap shut on its own. The cameras, as we've discussed, are pretty, or I mean, you guys have discussed anyway, are pretty, I mean, they're pretty pathetic. But you know what? I've been playing with the camera a little bit, just taking little pictures of my son and, you know, like pictures of my little, like I have a little toad action figure, things like that. I mean, it works for that. It works if you want to take some cool little pictures within the system itself.
Right.
You know, I mean, basically the only time it's going to replace any kind of camera is if you don't have a digital camera or your cell phone with you. I mean, every cell phone has a camera these days. So.
Right. And a better camera.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't see this replacing anything, but maybe if you have like a 10-year-old kid, you know, son or daughter who's dying to have like a little camera, they're going to eat this up. The big guys like us, I mean, we're not going to need this for anything, really. Now, when we get to like Monroe-Palooza, for instance, though, I mean, I might actually be using it a little more.
Oh, are you kidding me? That's going to be a bloodbath there with Nintendo DSi cameras being shot everywhere.
Yeah. That'll probably be my main camera. That or yeah.
Just like everything that Nintendo seems to be doing these days, it's like a party tool. When I took mine to work, when I started snapping pictures with it, it instantly became this icebreaker, you know, all of a sudden everybody wanted one, and it's like, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, this is a light with a couple of really crappy cameras on it, basically, but all of a sudden everybody was interested in it.
Right.
Because I was sitting there, you know, making some chick fat and, you know, de-evolving her nose and all that stuff. All of a sudden everyone thought that was just the business. It's like.
Making her look like Gollum.
Yeah, you know, my princess.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, it's a party gaming thing. You have to go into the DSi saying the cameras aren't there to be a convergence device item. And if you go in with that and say, okay, this is going to be fun at Thanksgiving when I show up, you know, at the family reunion or whatever, and I'm shooting pictures with it, and, you know, that's where it's going to be useful. It's not going to be something you're going to say, well, hey, you know, I'm going to.
Go to Disney World. Let me take the DSi and get some cool snaps. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. This is not a camera replacement. But again, like I said, it's one of those things where you can't perceive any value at all with it until you actually have one and play with it for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you can start saying, like you said, you know, hey, this is kind of cute. This is fun. I'm not going to replace my camera with it, but it's not a completely useless add-on like I thought it might have been.
Well, you know, that's the other thing. Speaking from gameplay, I mean, I don't know if they're really going to be using it for anything detrimental to the gameplay itself. I mean, I ended up grabbing WarioWare. I mean, I didn't want to. I knew it was going to suck. Everybody says it sucked, that it lasted only a couple of minutes. But, you know, that inkling in the back of my head said, you have to try it.
Yeah.
At the very least for the show, do it for the show, you know.
Yeah, we have to do stuff like that.
I got to download it. So I said, screw it. I'll use my free points. I'll get the stupid Wario. I mean, I love WarioWare, but you know, I knew going into it to have extremely low expectations. What did you call it? Below sea level expectations.
Yeah, below sea level. Below
Yes.
sea level.
Yeah, we're talking the abyss, Ed Harris sea level. So, you know, I went in and I knew it was going to suck. And sure, it does. It sucks. And actually, I would recommend anybody who has a DSi, do not download it. Save the points because it's terrible. It's not even a game. You know, you pretty much fly through the whole thing literally within 5 minutes. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I've had the worst time getting this stupid thing working too. I don't think these cameras are all that great unless they're planning to fix the. Well, we know the cameras are great, but I'm talking about in terms of using them for gameplay. As recently as yesterday, for instance, I had it, and my brother and sister were over, and they didn't even realize I had the thing. I guess I forgot to tell them. I don't know. And I said, you know what? Look, let's try this WarioWare Snapped out because I wanted to get an idea. I mean, I've never really shown it to anybody. My wife didn't even see it yet. Right. So, and she's usually the first one I show my technology to just so I could see her roll her eyes. So anyway, I bring it out, I put it on the table, and we're adjusting it. Okay, and you get these two little check boxes that say, okay, we see you in the picture in the camera. But the problem is you're blending in with your background. Okay, and for the most part, you know. You put a white person next to a white wall, and I guess it loses you. You know, so you know, I changed some light settings. I turned one light off, one light on, both lights on. Finally, we got it working after about 10 minutes. Literally, it took 10 minutes.
Oh, I know. I had the same problem. I had the exact same problem.
And then every time a mini game comes up, you have to kind of reposition yourself. So technically, this isn't even really WarioWare, because WarioWare to me is a series of quick mini games. You know, snap, 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 snap. You know, you buzz through them and you try to do it as fast as you can, and that was always I thought the big rift of the gameplay. Another reason why I didn't really care for smooth moves. I mean, every time you play a level, you know, you get that thing. Now relax and put your hands on your head.
Yeah.
You're a bird. You know, and I'm thinking, come on, dude. I mean, what is this? This isn't WarioWare. I mean, the mechanics, the gameplay, okay, it's fun, but, you know, the whole idea is you're giving these short little quick bursts of micro games that you're going to flying through. And the same with this. Every single time a minigame would come up, you'd have to reposition yourself. Now, I don't know if that was just a automatic thing or if it was just because of the fact that maybe the settings were off because of the lighting. I'm not really sure what that's about, honestly. I don't know if that's just something that comes up in the game itself because they want to prepare you. But to prepare you like that is against the gameplay, in my opinion, of WarioWare. Yeah. The whole gameplay was that going on that little hint that they give you just a nanosecond before it starts, you know, like pour or hit or jump, you know, and it's like, oh, what? Oh, I have to jump. Oh, you know, and this, it's like, okay, stay yourself in this position. Okay, get ready. And I'm thinking this, you know, it's just silly. It's not really WarioWare. I mean, it's got the aesthetics of the game, but you don't get any points. You don't get anything out of it. It's just basically a tech demo for these cameras. And right now, unless they really work on it, they kind of suck. I mean, I was not impressed. Okay, it's cool. Yeah, you can bend your head and you know, pour the coffee pot. But I just was not impressed whatsoever. I think I'd be more impressed, like, I think we've even mentioned it before, like in GTA, you know, or if they made a Burnout or something where you could take your picture and it'd be your driver's license, you know, something like, Brain Age is kind of doing. What is it? The Brain Age Express. It has the same similar idea where it takes your picture now. Yeah. I know, Chris in the forum, he posted a picture of himself in there. I mean, you can use instead of writing a signature now, you can take your picture, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, things I like that.
Yeah, things like that, it works. Or what's that chef game? There's a chef game coming out where you can kind of supplant your head.
Yeah, Ubisoft's coming out with one of those.
Yeah, and you can kind of put your face on top of the chef, you know, so that you look like you're the chef in the cooking game. So, you know, little rudimentary ideas like that. That's kind of cool. I think the big thing overall with the DS Lite in terms of hardware improvements that we're going to see are hopefully some DSi exclusives that take advantage of the extra memory and the horsepower, because it does have a little bit more horsepower. I'm kind of betting right now. I can't imagine they would do it. They would lose a lot of sales. But then again, looking at the latest figures, DSi is currently really outselling the Lite in Japan. But I could really see them maybe even taking a new Dragon Quest game and making it a DSi exclusive at this point. The game has been in development hell for about 2 or 3 years now.
Right.
And they've actually restarted the game. It was at one point a totally different game, and they've redone it from scratch. And I'm just wondering what they're going to be doing with that. I mean, we haven't heard a squat from Square Enix about that game, and I'm wondering if something's going on in the background, because when that game hits Japan, it's going to sell like hotcakes.
Right.
And I'm betting Nintendo's thinking, you know, this would be a great way to entice people even more to get a DS Lite over the Lite, even though it's you know, it's been pre-saturated in Japan anyway. You know, I don't know. A little extra. I haven't really played around with the music too much, but that little camera Photoshop stuff that you were mentioning was pretty cool. It is kind of neat how you can, you know, stretch faces and add flowers and stuff. I know I was showing my wife, I was taking pictures of the baby, and I was kind of stretching his eyes out and everything, and she was actually disgusted. She's like, "Stop that, please. You're making him look like a retard or something." She was really getting upset. She said, "Please delete that." I mean, it was just, I'm like, okay. But it's actually pretty fun. I mean, it's kind of cool just to sit and tool around with it. I mean, the kids will like it and everything. I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to use it. I mean, I'll take pictures and maybe, you know, like I'll take a picture of Shane or something, maybe a map, and I'll maybe like put some like thought bubbles over his head with something disgusting, I'm sure. But, like Karate Master or the crane technique. Some little Karate Kid reference when I get the chance. But
very nice, thank you.
Anyway, the camera's pretty cool. That's kind of neat. It's not something I would say I have to buy the system for.
I wanted to share a quick thought. I know you're getting ready to get off the camera topic. I wanted to say a couple more things about the cameras.
Yeah.
Just before. Listen, I just came up with this, and call me crazy that I didn't think of this before. But, you know, there are a couple of special things about the GBA slot. Now, I'm not talking about Guitar Hero, but what was that game that it could sense whether it was light or dark outside?
Boktai?
Boktai.
That was on the Game Boy. That was on the original Game Boy.
I thought they made a DS version of that.
No. Actually, they made a GBA version, and I don't even think that used it. I think that used the internal clock. No, wait a minute. Did the GBA version use it? I can't remember. I know the original. See, I think they made two. I can't remember if they made one or two for the original Game Boy. I know that was originally a Game Boy game, though. A Game Boy Color title.
Okay, so now follow my logic on this. What if instead of using that light sensor, they just flipped on one of the cameras?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Okay, so now the camera can be useful for night and day type depictions. Okay, now I'm going to take this one step further. Call me completely nuts. Now, I'm not an image manipulating kind of guy, but tell me, could you not tell by the way that the image was changing, just like on WarioWare, could you not tell if you're twisting the DSi based on how the image is changing through the camera?
So you could like rotate the DS and it would sense some kind of like a
yes.
Yeah.
It could tell by sampling through the camera whether or not you're twisting, turning, tilting, rotating the DS.
Hey, that'd be cool. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So now
and it doesn't even have to reflect on the screen necessarily. Obviously, it would just be more or less a little sensor in itself.
Right.
Behind the scenes. Yeah.
So I'm thinking now, if they really wanted to be smart, you could make a WarioWare Twisted, which is freaking an awesome game. You could actually do great. That with the DSi with no extra hardware.
And you wouldn't have this big lumping tumor sticking out of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the benign cyst sticking out of the bottom.
You should see Twisted on the micro, dude. I mean,
oh my god, the cartridge has to be as big as the damn thing.
It's almost as big as the cartridge. Seriously,
you need to take a picture of that. And got to see that.
It looks like this big like. It looks like some
Ramatuma.
Yeah, it's like when they find some guy kind of holed up like it down in Mexico, like just out of public eye for like 20 years, and then like he pops up on the news and he's got like this big enormous like tumor just hanging off his brain, you know?
Yeah.
They discovered him in a back alley. He's been growing there for 20 years.
That's great, man.
It's insane. I mean, it's hard to play it on there anyway. I think that thing was built for either the Game Boy Advance or the SP anyway. I mean, even the SP was a little hard to play because it's more narrow. But yeah, I mean, definitely that would be awesome, dude. I mean, if they could do that, like make a WarioWare Twisted 2. I guess you wouldn't call it Twisted, but I think that's actually. I mean, I think that'd be a lot cooler than what they're doing. I mean, they could incorporate some camera stuff. See, this is one thing that drives me nuts about WarioWare in general, though. Anytime they get like a new system going, they kind of want to incorporate something based solely around that input. Right. You know, like WarioWare Touched. It was all about the touch screen. Or I mean, you had a few blowing things in there, but I don't know. It just seemed like there were some other things maybe they could have done. Don't ask me. But like on this, like the new WarioWare they bring out for this, well, they did bring out that one in Japan recently, but I don't know if they, the one that everybody's making, debauchery out of.
Dude, I got that on my list of things to talk about. Let's save it.
Yeah. We'll save it. Anyway, if they bring out like a specific, a real retail WarioWare Snap title, I mean, that would just focus on the camera. Like the way they're doing it in this download, I mean, I'd be kind of bummed out. I mean, there is so many different ways they could probably incorporate totally different types of gaming in that game in terms of micro games, and even use the camera just the way you said it. I mean, even tilting it, like forward or back, like to slow down or accelerate a car in the game.
Exactly, dude.
You know what I mean? Almost like a fake kind of like accelerometer, like the iTouch is using.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's going solely by sight.
You should be able to do that.
Yeah.
It should be possible.
We'll see. If the camera's powerful enough for it, I mean.
It doesn't even have to even sample anything heavy. I mean, the stuff that I've seen in Wario Snapped is more than enough to sample a little piece of data and see if it's moved this way or that way.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Well, anyway, getting back to the DSi real quick. I mean, there's little things here and there. I mean, it's not really, I don't even know how to explain this system anymore. To me, it's almost like a stopgap in a way, though. I don't know if this is the DS2 or not. The way they talk behind the scenes, how the guys that were developing it were kind of down in the pits with it, because, I mean, the thing was originally going to have 2 cartridge slots. Remember that crap?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like they took the original Game Boy, then they released the Game Boy the Game Boy Pocket, okay, and then the Game Boy Color came out. And it's almost like you want to compare it to that a little bit. Like, this is almost a stopgap just to see where, okay, you know what? We know Sony's coming out with a new PSP, and Apple's having a real good time with their App Store and their iTouch, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we need to get something new and fresh out. Not necessarily too fresh, but because we got to make it cost effective for us. So let's add a couple things here and get this out and have it sell even more. In the meantime, let's work behind the scenes and make the true DS2. Which is what I think is going on here. Now, we won't be seeing it for a couple of years probably, but they know Sony's going to come out with that new, and it's already being rumored for E3, that new PSP.
Yeah.
So I think Nintendo is starting, I mean, they'll deny it, of course, but I mean, if you look at the numbers, the PSP is like jumping ahead big time in Japan. I mean, I think it was something like 53,000 to Nintendo's 37,000 for the DSi or something like that. So, they're obviously a little worried, but bottom line, I think if you don't have a DS, yeah, sure, go for the DSi. If you have that extra, $50 whatever dollars, what is it? No, I guess it's what, $40. If you have
$40, yeah.
Yeah, if you have the extra $40, sure, go for it. Otherwise, I'm going to say, I mean, I think the Lite is perfectly acceptable right now. Until Nintendo starts putting out some hardcore exclusives. That you have to have, like I said, maybe Dragon Quest, I don't know, or their store starts to get a little more in line with what's going to be really, I mean, nothing really is going on right now. So in that store,
yeah, it's slow.
Yeah, but if you have a DS Fat, you may want to just consider going to the Lite. I don't know. I mean, but it's certainly a lot easier to say go from nothing to this than to say go from a Lite to this. I mean, I think it's more of an incremental upgrade. It's got some little things that are kind of improvements. Like the Opera browser is now built in more or less. I mean, you can download it for free. I assume that's going to be a perpetual download. I mean, for free. I don't know if they're going to pull what they did with the Wii and end up selling that or not. I don't think they should personally. I mean, call me crazy. I'm just still not impressed with it at all. I know you love it. Now, is it cool? Like if I was at MAP maybe and I wanted to check a quick site out, maybe the forums. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I could get on the Monroe World forums available at dualscreenradio.com.
Very nice.
And, I mean, I could probably load them up on there real quick, but is it something I'm going to use in bed anymore? I don't know. I mean, it's only slightly better maybe than my BlackBerry browser. It's quicker, but it doesn't load pages as nice. It doesn't adhere really very well to the website's design.
Yeah.
The DSi though, it does adhere, but the problem is it takes forever to load. Now it is an improvement over the original DS Lite version that they had out for like 2 weeks. Obviously if you have your hands on like something like an iPod Touch, forget it. I mean, there's no comparison. But then again, I wasn't even originally comparing the thing to my Touch's browser because so far I haven't found anything portable that even beats it. But I was just comparing it to my BlackBerry alone. So but it's free, and you know what? What the heck? It's free, so grab it. But I just can't see it being used as much as a lot of people probably would be. In a clinch, yeah, I'll load it up, but
yeah, it's the backup browser. It's the backup browser.
Exactly, that's a good way to put it. Now, one thing they really should have done is added some kind of Wi-Fi capability to PictoChat, which I think was pretty stupid. I mean, and it's really funny too how it's almost like they kind of rushed it in a way. I mean, I think you and Alex were touching on this on the last show, how it almost looked like the sub menu of the GUI was kind of done by like a separate team of guys.
Yeah, totally looks like it was different.
It's really, at the time I didn't know what the heck you guys are talking about, but now I see it fully. I mean, when you go into the DS download, you're given the old DS GUI. Out of nowhere, it pops up, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't get it. You know, the whole the GUI has been totally redone, except when you go into download play, and under download play, you get the same old DS Lite GUI that you had. It's silly.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure that out, but hey, whatever. It's almost like they forgot it was there or something. They never took it out.
Yeah, I agree completely. It was totally bizarre that because that's not something that Nintendo usually has an issue with.
It seemed very haphazard.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, it's like 3 teams were working on it. Yeah. And then at the very end, they all threw their stuff together and said, "Oh, wait a minute. Screw it. No one's gonna care. Let's just go." Except
for us idiots, yeah. And then inside, and then also in that sub menu, not even that one, but I mean the main sub menu where you can change the brightness or turn the Wi-Fi on and off.
Yeah.
You have to use the touch screen. You can't even
use. Dude, isn't that weird? That's what I was saying on this last show.
Right. The whole other part of the GUI from the main menu, which is very Wii-like.
Yeah.
Everything is handled by the D-pad, touch screen, or the buttons. Yet when you go to that specific submenu to change options, forget it. I mean, it's all touch screen.
I know.
How funny is that?
I don't know, dude. Like I said, there was a couple of things that made me scratch my head. Having owned this thing for about a month, let me give you some are you done kind of with your impressions? I was going to give you that a month late sort of thing.
Real quick, let me just mention the store. I mean, the store, the store is kind of a non-issue at the moment. There's really nothing going on there. Right now, I'm heavily into birds and beans.
I got that to talk about later too.
Yeah, well, real quick though, I mean, right now, there's just not a lot going on in there. I mean, you're going to find a couple. I'm actually really upset with the way and I guess it doesn't help that I'm buying into it a little bit by buying something like Bird and Beans and Paper Airplane Chase, because they kind of are going against what I feel what Nintendo should be doing with this store. Instead of taking mini games from past games, full retail games, and making them in full-fledged little downloadable nuggets for like $2 a piece, 200 points, they really need to be concentrating on some original software here. I mean, Dr. Mario is kind of a step in that right direction. And we're going to have Brain Age Sudoku coming out, which I'm going to be there in like 2 seconds for that sucker.
Oh, yeah. Who wouldn't?
But meanwhile, I'm anxiously awaiting Pick-to-Pick, which is nowhere to be seen. Yet we're getting like 5 or 6 versions of Master of Illusion Express, which are $2 tricks from a cartridge or a game that at one point was $10 at Toys R Us or $6 recently at Buy.com. It's like, what? I don't understand what they're doing here. But outside Bird and Beans, and that's only because I'm a slut for WarioWare. And also because I feel that these little games are almost like they're the, I don't know, how do you want to say it? They're like the genetic DNA inspiration from the old Game & Watch days. I mean, they're play for points. That's it. They're quick
score attacks.
Exactly. You pick them up, play for a few minutes, score, and put them away.
I'm a complete slut for score attack games. That's why, and I want to give while we're talking about that.
Yeah.
I want to go back and give a plug to Yoshi Touch and Go, the original score attack game for the DS. A lot of people hated it because it said Yoshi and it wasn't Yoshi's Island, but I'm telling you, you can still buy this game if you're a score attack whore and you love score attack. Very novel use of the DS's capabilities, the microphone and touchscreen. For God's sakes, go pick it up. Give Yoshi Touch, give Yoshi Touch and Go some love because it's really a good game. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cheap too. I mean, isn't it like $12 pre-owned or something?
Yeah, something like that. And you can find it all everywhere. That's the cool part. It's not like,
and like you said, it's because people expected like this big full Yoshi adventure, and they didn't get it. Instead, they got a little arcade score attack game and / tech demo.
Everyone had it as a crap attack, and it's like, I don't get the problem, because I was never into the Yoshi Island to begin with. So.
Yeah, exactly. And early on, it was actually a pretty decent little game. I got it late.
That's like a launch title.
Well, I think I got your separate. I think you had a second copy, and I bought that from you.
I think I did. I think I got 2 of them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much, and the wife had a good time with it. But anyway.
That is a good plug. I mean, bringing that up because there isn't too many score attack games on the DS.
There are not that many.
No. And that's one thing, like I said, I'm digging Bird and Beans. We have a little minor, high score fight going on in the forums at dualscreenradio.com. I mean, I currently have the high score, unless somebody else hasn't chimed in, but it was pretty heated for a while there. And now nobody's chiming in, which kind of sucks. But
well, that's because I can't beat your damn score, dude.
Yeah, well, sorry.
Yeah.
I do have a cool tactic, but I am not going to release that tactic.
You know, I've been trying to discover your tactic on Bird and Beans, and I've tried a couple of different ways. I'm going to give away a secret. Maybe somebody can parlay this into a technique, and maybe this is part of your technique as well. But I've noticed that the advancement of levels, you know, when the background changed and things get faster,
right?
It all seems to be a matter of how many beans you eat.
That would be absolutely correct.
So
yes.
what I've been trying to do is work out a system where I only get 1,000-point or 300-point beans.
Yes.
I let the rest fall, unless it's going to cause me to get backed into a corner.
That is pretty much partially my strategy. Yes.
Yeah. So that I've been refining that, and I've managed to get myself up to like 14 grand without any problems at all. Quick, easy. But pretty soon it gets too hectic, and I'm trying to refine the process after that. Can you believe that we spend this much time on a $2 game?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've sat in bed at least for an hour playing it because of the high score. The whole high score competition thing really adds to the game. I mean, now it would be awesome if Nintendo could do some kind of Wi-Fi leaderboard, but and you know, I don't even think you would need friends for that. You know, just put up a generic Wi-Fi leaderboard that you can log in and just check the score or add your score too. Yeah. You know, like Space Invaders Extreme did. That was perfect.
Well, see, if I work this out right, and once I get some more free time, which I never seem to have any of, I would to make since we do have the built-in browser now, I would like to make I'm making a mobile version of the dual screen radio site. And one of the things that you'll be able to do is post a high score there, even though you can't take a picture and post it that way. You'll be able to submit a preliminary score right there from your DSi.
That's going to be awesome, dude. Yeah.
So that's as close to a leaderboard as we're going to get. Once again, dual screen radio picks up the slack where Nintendo left off.
Now, what would be awesome if there was a way to position? It's a shame you can't use the internal cameras on this thing to take a screenshot
of itself.
Yeah, or even just a screenshot button. I mean, that would have been awesome. And then you could just send it over somewhere.
You know, I would not be surprised to find
maybe later in a firmware.
Yeah, not necessarily in the firmware, but if certain games supported that.
Yeah.
Where you could because all you'd have to do is write a screen capture routine into your actual software.
Probably take 2 seconds. I mean, I don't know anything about that, but it sounds so easy.
It would be easy, and all you'd have, I mean, because games do that all the time on PC and stuff. You know, you hit this to take a screenshot of World of Warcraft so you can share it with your friends. It's just a matter of actually somebody writing some code that takes a screenshot and dumps it to the SD card or dumps it to the internal memory. It would not be a complicated thing. And I believe, honestly, if there was enough demand for it, that one of these DSiWare companies would do it.
Yeah, or either that or when the DSi eventually gets hacked to hell. Somebody's going to do it. Yeah, yeah. And I think already they've already got some. Don't the guys that do the hacking on the Wii already have a DS site up for the DSi?
Probably.
I saw that somewhere real quick. I saw a blurb. It's like DSi brew or something. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, little tools like that would be awesome. You know, I mean, I would love that. But yeah, I mean, that sounds fantastic. If we get some kind of high score like table thing going on or something.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've actually got some preliminary stuff in the back end already set up, so it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Well, the only other game that I found was somewhat reasonable was Aqua or Aqua, whatever it's called. Aqua. And even then, I gotta say, I'm not as impressed with it as you guys were. I mean, I'm actually I found it a little boring. I mean, it was also a little confusing at first too.
It's a very confusing game.
It's almost like it's not one of those types of puzzle games that I like. I mean, it goes against the norm for me for puzzle games. I'd rather have a puzzle game like Tetris where it takes 2 seconds to explain.
Yeah.
You know, get
this
4
takes a lot longer.
Disappear, boom, done. You know, I mean, it goes against what I feel is right about a puzzle game. You know, easy to pick up, forever to learn. You know, in terms of the gameplay, learning its intricacies. You know, I'm not talking about necessarily how to play, but playing it.
No, I understand what you mean.
Just, almost like, well, chess is a little more complicated, but, it's almost like people could pick up chess in 5 minutes, but it'll take them a lifetime to master it. So, something like Tetris, I mean, or Tetris Attack, or Puzzle League, whatever, any of these games. Medios was actually a little bit more complicated in a way. I mean, it took me a while to explain that to a couple people, but, this game, I'm still not quite 100% sure what I'm doing on it. And I'm like, I have other puzzle games now I can play that I know I can play and I love. I can't be bothered with playing it anymore.
I will tell you, if you invest the time to figure out how it's played, it becomes a hell of a lot more fun. I've gotten at least 5 or 6 hours of gameplay out of it. So for $5, I'm paying like $1 an hour for entertainment.
Yeah,
I'm good.
For $5 ain't bad for it. I mean, it was worth checking out. It's not a terrible game, and
it's not a retail SKU. It's not a retail SKU, to be sure. It's not polished.
No. This isn't a $20 game even.
But it's the mechanics of it are unique. I've never seen these particular mechanics in a game.
Right.
If I had anything bad to say about it, it'd be the learning curve stiff, and when the music starts to get annoying as hell when you get to a point to where you're kind of critical and the screen starts going black. That music just grates on my ears. It's like you guys have this cool, soothing music and everything's good, and then you just grind my freaking last nerve when I get. Maybe they intended to do that, like making alarms on your alarm clock irritating. Because if it was pleasant, you wouldn't care about getting up and turning it off, right? So maybe that was what they were going for. I don't know. All I know is if you're willing to invest a little bit of time in it, it's a good $5 value, I thought.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's just sometimes, you mentioned how it's unique, and I think a lot of times, the uniqueness is so bad that, it's a little too much. It's a little too unique,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a hardcore puzzle game in my opinion. I mean,
it is. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you want to give to a kid, that's for sure.
No, it's not. I
just didn't find it very inviting. It's not one of those games I walked into. Maybe because it didn't have enough Mario characters littering the screen on the sidelines. Honestly, if you called it Donkey Kong's Barrel Blast or something, or wait, that was a GameCube game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
Donkey Kong Block Blast.
Yeah, or Mario's Mushroom Madness or something like that, and like threw Mario, pictures of Mario all over the screen or had the music in there. I'd probably be a whore for it, but right now the aesthetics is just enough that it's like,
You're such an IP slut.
All
right, now we need to go a couple rounds about this one. I'm trying to figure out, I know you and I talked about this before, about me not being a Dr. Mario fan.
Yeah.
I went back and I picked up the Express one because I had points sitting around. And
hold on 1 second. Let me explain this to the listeners.
Okay.
Because it was literally within 24 hours or something like that, 48 hours. I remember saying to Shane when Dr. Mario came out, I said, "Hey, Dr. Mario's out here," and I was like, "I'm taking a pass," because I was never a big fan of the game. I think it's a terrible game, to be honest with you. And I remember Shane saying at the same time, "Yeah, I wasn't a big fan myself." And now, go ahead.
Well, I was bored and I picked it up and I started playing. And first of all, I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing. This is another one sort of like Acquios, it's like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
And finally I figured it out. I said, okay, I kind of got what's going on here. Now I'll be straight with you. I haven't played anything else other than like the classic mode on medium speed level 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, that to me was an instant challenge because I've only managed to clear that screen one time, and all the time I've played it, I do not quite have the finesse for the game, I guess. But I thought the mechanics and everything on the game were fine. I'm trying to figure out what you didn't like about it. I remember it being something different than this.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I didn't play the DSiWare one, but I mean, it's Dr. Mario, right? It's the same gameplay. I've played it since it came out on the NES, and I just I can't quite put my finger on it. Some people love the game.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just one of those people that hates it. I just don't like the gameplay. I don't like the whole rotating of the capsule thing. I think it's because of the frustration level. It seems like once you make a mistake, you're screwed. I mean, for like the longest time. And you have to concentrate on fixing that one problem. Like sometimes, like on Tetris, for instance, okay? I was always one of those types that would just always build up against this one side of the wall.
Yeah, me too.
But would leave that one opening just so I could slide that down. And
right.
I would always just let it go. And, sometimes it would work out for me where, I would get this insane score. And it's all out of luck, I guess, because it's all random pieces that are coming down.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where my game would be over in 2 seconds. because I would have to wait for those. I would demand to have a Tetris. I couldn't settle for anything else unless I was getting drastically close to the top to the point where I said, well, I got to trim some off. I would always wait for that damn Tetris piece no matter what.
Yeah.
And you know what? The thing is, what would happen would be, sure enough, once in a while, I would get that one little open pocket to the left side, somewhere at the bottom right, or left or rather of the corner. Yeah. Because for some reason, I was always focusing my Tetrises on the right. Don't ask me why. And it would screw up my Tetris, okay? And from that point, I would build above, that hole.
Yeah.
And if I could get to it, I would get to it, and clear it out. But otherwise, forget it. I would say, all right, I would leave it. And I would just build up upon that Tetrises. On Dr. Mario, I can't use that kind of thinking.
Yeah, you can't.
The thing is, the game kind of has a similar. I mean, obviously, it's been inspired by Tetris. I mean, you got to clear the little things off. You got to get 4 in a row, and they disappear. But the thing is, you make one mistake like that, and you have to concentrate on fixing that mistake. And the problem is, you're limited because you can only fix the mistake by getting the same colors over there to fix them.
Right.
And I guess it's just the frustration level just wants me to go through a window.
Yeah.
Because I always put wrong colors and everything else. It was just too much. I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't one of those games where I could pick up and constantly want to play like Tetris. Or even something like Puyo Pop. I mean, I could play Puyo Pop too, or Bust a Move or whatever. But Dr. Mario, it was always one of my hated games, my puzzle games. I hated it.
Yeah. No, I totally understand where you're coming from. I
tried so hard, dude. I tried so hard.
It is the most unforgiving puzzler game I've ever seen. You are completely right. I have learned some tricks of how to handle that. I mean, to me, I guess that was part of the game mechanics was how do you solve that one screw up that, like you said, takes over the whole game. And I found tons of different ways of doing it, and I've applied different techniques. Dude, I've probably put 10 or 15 hours into that damn game.
Wow. And, just on the DSi, really?
Just on the DSi, because I got to me, it was a score attack, first of all, because they put the high score at like 9,000. Mm-hmm. That's the lowest score that you can use to get on the board. And I could never get that. I could get 4,000, 6,000, 7,000.
But it's all built in high score, right? It's not Wi-Fi.
It was built in high score.
Yeah. Okay.
But then finally I cracked the 9,000. That took me like 5-6 hours to crack that 9,000. And then once I did that, it's like, okay, well, now I want to get this goddamn board clear because I can't clear the board. I mean, like I told you, I've managed to clear the board one time. And it's because, like you said, you make one mistake and either you have about a 90% chance that you're done and you're going to basically be playing damage control for the rest of the game, or, you've got to frantically work to fix that, and that requires a little bit of luck. So, no, if it's the frustration level, I get it. I was trying to figure out mechanically speaking why you didn't like it, but
no. You know what? I understand mechanically how it plays. I like the concept, because you have a set goal.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a goal. You have to kill off these little bugs on the screen.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you get one at the very bottom. And you put a couple wrong colors on top, and you're screwed because you could have a red on a yellow. But first you got to clear the yellow off.
Right.
And since you only get 2 yellows maximum per capsule, and you need 4, there's 3 yellows right there. So now you got to figure out a way to get a 4th one on top without also blocking the red one beneath it.
Right.
And it's like there's so much thinking ahead, and I know I'm a big whiner. I just didn't like the game. I just didn't like the way it's played. I mean, it's not one of those games that I feel like I can just pick it up and play for 5 minutes because it's like a constant battle. I mean, Tetris, you're getting all these different shapes and you can bring them down, and you basically are limited. I think that's the problem with Dr. Mario for me. Yeah. The limitation to the gameplay. You specifically are going to have to do something specific to win the game. I mean, Tetris, you can line up 4, you can line up 2, line up 1. You can rotate the shapes, you could shift them in different places. You can kind of play on the fly and think, and as you go, say, aha, I'm going to put that there, boom. But with Dr. Mario, if you don't get that yellow capsule in there, you're screwed. For instance, or I just that drove me crazy because you weren't really able to play. It wasn't very free thinking, I guess. You know, it wasn't very relaxing. And
Oh no, it's not a relaxing game.
Yeah.
No. I swear, and I did swear a lot. I was cursing at that game. I was yelling at that game. But I couldn't stop playing it. But to me,
yes.
that's the caveat to, okay, it's hard. It's frustrating. It makes me swear. It raises my blood pressure. But I kept playing it. So
you love the punishment, yeah.
I guess I like the punishment.
You had to justify your 500 points.
No, I forgot about the 500 points. You know, I was to the point now where it's like, I'm not trying to like milk my 500. I just want to beat the score. And then once I beat the score, I just want to clear this level. And you know what's funny? As soon as I was able to clear the level, I don't think I've played it more than once or twice since then.
Yeah.
So I met my objective. But then again, you know, for $5, I got like 15 hours of gameplay out of it. You know, for me, you know, 33 cents an hour is a good deal for entertainment. So, you know, it's a lot of these things people say, oh, you know, $5 for Dr. Mario, that's too much money. Well, you just got to look at it from entertainment value. People are willing to pay $4.50 an hour to go watch a really crappy CGI movie. Mm-hmm. You know, but to pay 33 cents an hour for Dr. Mario, that's too much money.
I will admit though that it is better than Yoshi Cookie.
Yeah, you know, I tried Yoshi Cookie when you and I were talking about it. For me, that was one game I just couldn't get into. I didn't care for the mechanics though. Yeah, it was the mechanics that.
Yeah, the mechanics suck on that too.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well. Okay, let's move on. We've got tons of stuff I want to talk.
I have to admit though, I've tried so hard to get into Dr. Mario because, like I said, I'm an IP whore, and I see Dr. Mario standing there, and I just want to suck it in. You know,
the little viruses are so cute.
Oh my god, I love the viruses. I wish I could get little plushies. You know.
Oh god, that'd be awesome. I'd totally buy plushies. We are so gay. You and I, you know, we are 1 foot out of the closet. I'm telling you. Okay, let me see some of this. Oh, were you done with your DSi thing? We kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
segued.
Of course, you mentioned you get 1,000 points. I recommend saving those points for a little while and see what happens. I know this past week they came out with Animal Crossing clock and calculator.
What is that? I mean, come on. You know, I can sit here for an hour and talk about how goofy that is.
Real quick, my big beef with the whole clock idea. And, you know, of course, I'm a sucker, man. I'd buy a Mario clock in a second. But the problem is, once you close the lid on that thing, isn't it going to be put in hibernation mode and then the clock isn't going to work? So, do they expect you to leave your DS open all night? I mean,
that's what I assume, yeah.
The DS only has so much battery power, you know, and I don't quite – I guess you could plug it in the wall, but, you know, if it's a travel clock, I mean, you know – it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't understand the concept.
What they're trying to do here, other than rape you out of 200 points.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just, I do not understand that one. I mean,
Anyway, I'm pretty much done. I mean, the whole GBA port. You know, originally that was a problem because, you know, I'm thinking maybe I'd like to play my GBA stuff, and you know, at the time I was keeping some GBA games in my collection. My small GBA collection. I really don't have a big GBA collection. I think I only had about 15 games on there. I was throwing them all in the Cyclo, and I was loading them thanks to the 3-in-1. But you know what? I was looking back on it. I'm saying to myself, how was the last time I played a GBA title on this thing?
Right.
And how often do I do it? 9 times out of 10, I boot up the DS. It's going to be playing a DS game. Actually, right. I take that back. You know, 19 out of 20 times. You know, I could go up even more. So I think I said to myself, okay, so what's left for me now? The Rumble, you know, I'm going to hate to see it go. I actually really liked it in Space Invaders Extreme. I liked it in more Metroid Pinball. You know, Leapy Ages, I could care less, honestly. But you know, whatever, it's gone. I don't know. I'm not killing myself over it anymore. I mean, now I have that micro. I can play my GBA on there if I want to. I obviously can't use my 3-in-1 cart, but at the same time, I still have my DS Lite. And if I wanted to, I could still use that. But it just came to the point where a GBA game playing on the DS just seems so unfunctional. You know, I mean,
it does seem dysfunctional, yeah.
You have a whole top half of this unit just hanging off, and it's not doing anything, you know? Because I have the game playing on the bottom screen. It's almost like I just want to rip the top screen off.
I know.
I actually considered that, looking on eBay and seeing if they had any, you any broken DS Lites for like $10 that only the bottom screen worked. Because then I could just pop in my Cyclo, my 3-in-1, and I'd have like a Frankenstein GBA,
Right.
But all those people, Guitar Hero, who cares? Anybody playing Guitar Hero in this thing? I mean, seriously, did it sell that well?
Apparently so. I mean, what do we know?
I tried it at Toys R Us. I thought it sucked. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't get it.
I mean, I'm not a Guitar Hero freak anyway, so I'm one of those people that says
I didn't like the game. I mean, I just didn't think it was any good. I
thought it was a good portable version, but it's like.
Oh, yeah, mechanically, yes. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. You just don't like the Guitar Hero.
The game it's just no good. I mean, I think it's better on the consoles, if anything. I'm not a big fan either, but on the consoles it's a lot better. I mean, what they did was pretty cool mechanically, and the idea was neat. I just didn't think the gameplay was all that great. And, if you're worried about that, I mean, But
what you gonna do?
Anyway, ultimately, once again, I would have to say, if you're starting out from scratch, you don't have a DS, I guess it's just a matter of, is it worth the extra $40? Well, right now, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say maybe it would be. If you're looking to save some cash, grab a DS Lite. If you're coming from a fat and you want to upgrade between the two, it's the same idea. I mean, you're getting a lot more value probably with the DSi over the Lite, I guess, if you're looking at the camera and the screens. But if you're starting from scratch, there's no reason the DS Lite wouldn't be perfectly fine for you or suit you, at the moment. The store is kind of a bomb right now. Coming from a fat looking to upgrade to DSi might be worthwhile. But then again, for the same idea, I mean, you're going to have the better screens on the DS Lite. So I just, it's kind of hard at this point until some hard software comes out that says, oh my God, I have to make the jump now,
Right.
Until that happens, it's kind of a wait and see opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, guys like us, I mean, that's all we do is play. I mean, I play my DS all the time. I mean, I had a little break in there with the PSP, but I got drawn to the dark side. But somebody like me who plays it all the time, I mean, it seemed like a justifiable upgrade in a way. I mean, I know I was critical of it at first. But the fact that it's got the bigger screens, it's got the controls are a little better for me. I do like the D-pad a little more. Things like that. I mean, I guess, and I do like actually I do like the surface of it. I think it feels a little better in the hand. It's not as slippery. So, Yes. I mean, you guys pretty much covered it on last show. I haven't really dwelled into the music too much, so I can't really get into that. I did put an SD card. I had a micro SD laying around. I mean, like I was saying to Shane, they're practically falling out like Cracker Jack boxes, these days. So I did plug that in there with the adapter, and the thing didn't recognize it. So I guess you're going to have to make sure to watch the SD cards that you put in there, because it looks like it's pretty finicky with some of these SD card brands. I think the one I tried to put in there was I think it might have been, it was either an ADATA or a SanDisk. I would hope it wasn't the SanDisk. I mean, for crying out loud, SanDisk makes the SD card, the Wii and DS branded ones now anyway, don't they? I mean,
I think they do. Yeah, SanDisk did for the Wii anyway.
Because it's got a Wii label on it, we got to mark it up $20, so.
Absolutely. I picked those up when they were like half price.
Which made them normal price then.
Well, yeah, it made them like 10, it was like $10 for a 2 gigger. So I didn't think that was too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Plus, it's for the marking. It's for the the Wii label on it. I don't know. I'm a toad for that sort of thing. What can I I can't help it. I like that stuff. It's for my swag box. I've never actually I bought 2 of them. I thought I'll use one and then I'll put one in my, my swag box. And then it's like, no, I didn't use either one of them. Yeah, whatever.
I hope everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, my swag box.
It's an upgrade from the man sack, right?
Yeah. Too funny. Okay, well, I'm moving along.
So, is there a couple things you wanted to talk about that were newsworthy? I mean, they're not even necessarily newsworthy in the fact that, it's cutting edge news, but they're topics that I think should be talked about.
Go ahead and get started. I've got a couple, but I'm betting that we're going to overlap on a couple of them. So,
Well, I mean, there's just a couple rumors going around right now. Those are really the big things I wanted to mention. For all the Pokemon craziness that's going on right now, they had Platinum out. I think one of the things people are trying to figure out, and I probably should have added this in the DSi review, but I'm thinking, well, screw it. People are probably going to wonder how they're going to get their old games onto the DSi, like even the GBA stuff for Pokemon. And it looks like Nintendo, I don't know if this is what's going to pan out, but there's supposed to be this big announcement happening on the 10th, which I think is Mother's Day, actually, on the 10th in Japan. They have like this Pokemon variety show or some crap like that over there.
Do they really?
Yeah. So, and they're planning on making this big announcement. Nintendo's going to be making this big announcement about Pokemon. Now, in my opinion, what I think Nintendo needs to do is go MMO and make Pokemon into a big MMO. You realize how hard, how much money they'd be raking in?
They could make that pay for play, and people would pay money out the ass to play that.
They could charge $10 a month, and I mean, it would be the World of Warcraft for everybody. I mean, all the kids and everything.
It'd be disgusting.
You'd be able to run around. You'd have a little 3D avatar rather. You could run around and challenge people. I mean, they're insane for not developing this concept sooner. I mean, I don't know what they're doing right now, but they're dragging their feet on some major gold. And I just can't understand why they're not going for it, unless they are going for it. We just don't know about it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it sounds like the big secret that's leaked is that it's going to be remakes of the original Game Boy Gold and Silver edition Pokemon games. And I think a lot of people are actually pretty excited about that because those are supposedly two of the best in the whole series. And I don't know if I don't know if I guess they're coming to DSi, or I mean, I don't know if they're exclusives or what is going on, but they're supposed to be making some announcement that they're going to be remakes of that. Now, the other thing that's being rumored right now, and it's also kind of related to Pokemon in ways. And I don't know, maybe we should save this. It was something I was going to mention. It was an E3 thing. But we were going to maybe talk about some things we were thinking about seeing in E3.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I got that on my list. Let's take that. Well,
the one thing I was looking at, one of the rumors that's going around is that Nintendo is going to be, it sounds like it's going to be a big E3 overall. They're going to be announcing the DSiWare Virtual Console at E3. And we kind of all knew this was coming anyway. Yeah. But the fact that we're getting some kind of they're nailing down a date or a time that it's going to happen is kind of cool, which I think we expected that it was going to be probably either at E3 or Space World, which is where Nintendo likes to hang out too, or TGS. But two of the launch titles are, they're going to be Virtual Console for Game Boy, at least at the moment. That seems to be what's going to be happening. And the two of the launch titles are going to be the original Pokemon Red and Blue for the old Game Boy. Now, I don't know if they're going to be incorporating Game Boy Advance into this yet. I mean, I don't know if they can do that. I mean, do you think that would work?
I don't know.
Some of those games are a little large, and I don't know if I don't know the limits to what the DSi could handle in terms of downloading. I mean, obviously on a Wii, it's nothing. You can download that stuff. But I'm wondering, I assume that the DSi could handle transfers of like 4, 8, and even 16 gigabytes if it wanted to.
Megabytes, you mean?
Yeah, megabytes. Sorry. Yeah. Jeez, megabytes. Excuse me.
Yeah, we're not used to thinking in small numbers anymore these days.
But those are pretty much the normal, typical sizes of GBA titles.
Oh, I'm sure you could download it. My guess is we're going to start with the Game Boy stuff because it's really small. And maybe we'll see some disparate stuff like maybe an Atari 2600 or something like that.
I didn't even think about that, yeah.
That would be my guess because the cartridges are small and the emulation doesn't require much. Now, the GBA requires the space, and I'm guessing that until
maybe television. Ooh, I just thought about that.
Television owned, ColecoVision, and get all the classics would be awesome.
Damn, dude, I didn't even think about that.
Now, why wouldn't you think about that?
I don't know why. Probably because Nintendo's neglected us so far on the Wii. I mean, we only just now got the Commodore.
I know. It's so dumb. But you never know. I mean, my guess is until they open up the SD card for running games from it, my guess is we won't see GBA until then.
Exactly, and I have a feeling that's going to be coming eventually in a firmware update.
Oh, absolutely. They're saving
right now. Well, I think right now they're a little scared more in terms of Nintendo's probably scared about the hacking concept of it, and they're probably looking about what they can do to kind of keep that open, but at the same time protect it. Although it's just going to be cracked anyway.
Of course.
But I have a feeling that's one of the reasons why we can't just run any like DSware titles like Dr. Mario or whatnot, Aquia. Bird and Beans. I mean, it's a shame we can't just copy them or run it from there. I mean, I'd rather have that memory in my system anyway.
Right.
Just in terms of, I mean, what's it going to be used for? I don't know. But I'm just weird like that. Anytime there's some kind of internal memory, I'd rather put it off into the sub memory that I can control and let the system have all the memory it needs. Whether it's really accessing as much or not, I mean, it's just one of my little, I don't know, nitpicks like that. I'm just weird. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't see the fact that the DSi has what, 256, right? So, megs. So you're talking a Game Boy Advance game being 4, 8, 16. I mean, I think like Mystery Dungeon was like 32 megs for crying out loud. So,
yeah.
And that was one of the last GBA titles published in America anyway. And, I mean, that's going to fill up awfully quick unless they allow you to open the fridge whenever you want to take something out of it on the fly. I mean, unless they're going to expect people to move stuff back and forth again, which I think we're beyond that point now.
Yeah, they figured I don't think they think they can get away with that
they're not going to be able to do that again.
No.
Yeah, but Game Boy games, I mean, you're talking what? I mean, I think the biggest is probably like a meg or so, or 512 seems to be the average, and kilobytes.
Yeah, it's small.
But some of those games are just so freaking small. I would love to buy like something like Link's Awakening or the Donkey Kong, which I know you're not a fan of, but I always thought it was more of a puzzle game anyway. It wasn't really the legitimate Donkey Kong anyway. It was always more of a puzzle game. But I'm talking the original. I think it was Donkey Kong 94 or something like that, 92. I can't remember exactly when it came out. But I don't want people to get confused with Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land, those horrific abominations from Rare that have destroyed Donkey Kong. I'll never forgive Rare for destroying Donkey Kong. I mean,
Nintendo let him do it, so.
Yeah, but they're just, well, I mean, I'm sure Miyamoto wasn't too happy about it either because he hated Donkey Kong Country. But the thing is, I never liked what they did with Donkey Kong. And that little bastard of a cousin or whatever that was he had with him. But if they want to put that original Donkey Kong game on there, they want to put Link's Awakening on there. And I think you were a fan, didn't you say, of Alleyway?
Yes, I was actually. Well, I had it. I don't know if I was necessarily a fan, but I was definitely, I definitely owned it. Okay, listen.
Yeah,
while we've been chatting here, I decided to blow the 200 points and downloaded that stupid, Animal Crossing alarm clock. It does ring the alarm if the system is closed and in hibernation.
Really?
So that might actually make it somewhat useful.
Now, now here's the big thing. Now, did you have the volume all the way up?
No, because they moved it from a slider to buttons, they control the volume through software now. So it turns the volume all the way up for you, even if you've got the volume turned down.
Next question.
Go.
The speakers are obviously closed against itself when you have it closed shut. So
it's a little on the quieter side. I don't know if that'd wake you necessarily up. But you were able to hear it over the speakers or the microphone.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
So, there's something to be said for that, I guess. It looks like you get 3 different alarms you can set. What the hell? While I'm in here, I'll give a mini review. It also you also have the ability to do something called energy saving mode, which allows you to leave it open, and then it shuts everything basically down. It puts it to sleep with the system open. After either 5 minutes or an hour. What an interesting choice. 5 minutes or 1 hour. Unbelievable. Now you can it can use the internal system clock, or you can, do a time offset so that you can, if you're traveling and the DS is set for your home time and you're traveling, let's say you go 3 hours ahead, you can change it to offset 3 hours ahead. Okay, let me see what else here. No, I don't want to return to the menu. What else can I tell you about this thing?
Is there stuff moving on the screen and everything? I mean, do the characters move around or?
Just a second. Yeah. They've got a whole thing going on up there. But, you can change. Oh, you can actually make like.
Tom Nook calling the mob out for you.
Oh, you can actually like. That's interesting. You can make your own alarm sounds. You can actually make your own music. It's very primitive, but you can make your own sound.
You know what? Is it like the when you go up to the town hall and you can create your own chime for the
yeah. Same
clock?
thing.
Yeah,
same thing. You can go analog or digital, 24-hour or 12-hour time.
Mm-hmm.
Change your town tune. What else can you do in here?
I don't know, but people were saying online, the people who have it in Japan, because they have a Mario one out in Japan.
Yeah.
And the Animal Crossing, that the Mario one is supposedly superior in every way.
Oh, I'm sure. This you'd really have to, have a real
I don't know,
bulge in the pants for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, but I don't know if they mean in terms of, options and overall, like, things that you can do with it. I don't know features overall. If the overall features are better, or if it's just more of an aesthetic thing or not.
Yeah, this looks like basically a standard clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
except you have a bunch of little furries running around the screen.
Well, they're not right now. They're not moving because I keep messing with it. But I just saw a balloon fly by.
Oh, that gets you all worked up, right? Like, oh, God, pop that balloon. Oh, wait, it's a clock.
No, you can't actually pop the balloon. So that'd actually be exciting.
But see, no, it's so into your being now that when you see a stupid balloon go by,
right.
You want to pop that sucker.
I gotta get out the sunshine.
I gotta pop. Oh wait, it's a clock.
Okay, it's kind of cool the way that it changes. Okay, so it just blanked the bottom screen for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now the bottom screen's blank. So now I got the top screen with the clock. I think the longer you leave it inactive, the more stuff it does.
So let's give a quick rundown here so far. You can leave it open.
Yep.
And after 5 minutes, it'll kind of do like a sleep mode.
Yep, by itself, or 1 hour. 5 minutes or an hour.
Okay.
I'm gonna let it go into sleep mode by itself here and see what happens. The 5 minutes. I'll see exactly what happens. Okay, keep going.
So basically, the power won't. I mean, you could theoretically leave it on all night then without it really killing its battery. Then.
Right. Yes, you can. So that makes it at least somewhat useful. I mean,
but is it a sleep mode? Because even on sleep mode, the thing will still suck down pretty hard. Or is it doing something else?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably a very low power hibernation because when I close it, it goes into hibernation mode. Mm-hmm. But it has to be sitting there pulling something, right? I mean, it has to be paying attention to the time. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I can't see it being extraordinarily useful, but I guess it's more useful than I thought it would be before,
Well, maybe if you were a 10-year-old girl,
Yeah. Now I also grabbed that.
Those are the only people. Those are the only people that are supposed to be playing Animal Crossing anyway.
That's right, because if you play Animal Crossing, you're obviously a child molester.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that what it was? The article.
And I know what you're doing there. You're just causing nothing but mischief by downloading that clock.
I know. Nothing but mischief.
Yes.
Okay, so let me see here. I also grabbed the calculator.
Right on Picto Chat right now while you're talking to me, looking.
I am. I'm actually being a sexual predator right now. Okay, the calculator's kind of cute, dude. All right, I could understand why someone would buy it.
Meanwhile, cue that in the background.
Just a second, can I turn this up? Hang on, let me turn the volume up here. Can you hear this? Can you hear the numbers, or do you see the voice?
Yeah, I hear that. Stick that sucker right up to the mic.
I did. Oh, it cannot calculate a number that high. Nice. Okay,
you have reached the DSi's memory limitations.
963 times 65. It's very stylish. I'll give him that. It looks like
it sounds like the bank. It sounds like when you go to the post office.
It's exactly what it is. Huh. It's exactly what it is. And you've got division, multiplication, blah blah blah. Okay. Now what I'm very interested in is the unit converter. Okay, unit converter includes lengths, widths, volumes, time, age, temperature, speed, and area. Now see, for me, this is something useful because there's always time that I'm trying to convert something else. Okay, so let's take a look here.
I could just see you at a business meeting. Let me check my
let me check my numbers.
Let me check my numbers. I got my DSi and my
example, like Fahrenheit,
clock.
Celsius, and all that crap. So let's say Fahrenheit, right? So let's say 56 in Fahrenheit is 56.
Let me consult Tom Nook.
Yes, the conversion from degrees Fahrenheit is 56 degrees Fahrenheit is 13.33 degrees Celsius. If you'd like that in Kelvin, that's 286.48.
That'll be 500,000 bells, please.
Okay, what can you do with age? Oh, human, cat, small dog. Oh my God.
Are you interested in the paisley rug?
Okay, so if let me see here. So if my cat is 7 years old, how old is it in human years? 41. How about a small dog? 7 to 7. Okay.
So wait a minute. Are these questions that it's asking you?
You go in, you click unit converter, right? And then it asks you what you want to convert. I'm going to convert speed. Okay. And then it comes up and it gives you all these different options for what do you want to convert from and to. So I'm going to go 90 miles per hour. All right. And then what do I want to convert that to? Kilometers, because I'm going to go visit Canada. So 90 miles per hour in kilometers is 144.84 kilometers per hour. And that is 132 feet per second.
Uh-huh.
Converted to knots, that's 78 knots. The speed of light, damn, that's like 0.00.
It's like you're doing some heavy banking over there.
I know. Let's see. Meters per minute, meters per second. Okay.
I really hope all the sound effects are coming through.
They probably won't, which is too bad because that's funny as hell. Okay, length. Oh, see, now this is useful. Okay, 12 inches is how many centimeters? Do you know the answer to that?
Is it 6?
No, it's 30. 30.48.
Oh, wait, I was reversing it. Excuse me. I was doing, never mind.
So 12 inches is how many yards? 0.33 yards. 12 inches is 0.000189 miles. See, this is useful to me because I don't know why, but there's always something I need to convert. I don't know why.
Shane R. Monroe defending his $2 Animal Crossing clock purchase.
No, this isn't the clock. This is the calculator.
That's right. Yeah.
See, like, let's see, what was the one? See, but this one won't let me convert like gallons to pounds. That was something I wanted to know the other day. How much does a gallon of fluid weigh? I didn't know. I wanted to know. Let's see. We did the age thing. What about time? Let's see what's on time here. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, years, and centuries. Okay, so 365 days.
Does it tell you how long you will live?
No, well, it might. Let me see here. No. So how many minutes is in a year, right? So it's 525,600.
So how many movies does that mean you could watch if they're 120 minutes a piece?
Okay, hang on a second. We can do this. All right, time. All right, so let me see here. 120 minutes. Wait a minute. Hang on. 120 minutes is. Oh no, that's not going to work. Son of a. Let's see here. Maybe. All right, maybe I can't do that.
Well, how many minutes were there in a year? 5,000?
Okay, wait a second. I'm going to go back to time. 365 days is 525,600 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, let me put that in the memory. Hang on. Stored in memory. Okay. Clear out. Go back. Go back to the calculator. Bring the memory back. Oh, wait a minute. How come it's giving me 1,000,000? Something's not right here. Memory clear plus 1.
Is that in Japanese or U.S. Minutes? I
think that's U.S. minutes. Okay. So let me see. So 365 days. Now, how do I save that to the damn memory? Oh, wait a minute. Memory clear. I think I already had something in memory. That's why. Memory plus. Okay. Clear. Back. Go to the calculator. Memory recall. There we go. Okay. So 525,600 minutes, and we'll divide that by 120.
20, yeah.
So that's 4,380 movies you could watch back throughout the year.
Listen to that, Flair. Look how many great crap movies you could be watching right now.
You could be watching Meat Train like 4,380 times. All right. So the calculator's worth the $2. The clock, But the calculator, that was one of the things I said about that My Do It All program.
Yeah.
Is that it had a really deep scientific calculator, and it had all those unit conversions in them.
Nice.
And I've found uses for that stuff. So, hey, maybe it's worth $2. I don't know.
Obviously won't be using it at college, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, the one in My Do It All has like atomic weights and crap in it. So
nice. Yeah.
But this one, no. For $2, you don't get atomic weights. But, yeah. So anyway.
You do get some flashy sounds and music, though.
You do. I'm telling you, it's all stylish. Like when it calculates the total, it draws a line underneath it like a chalkboard. It's stylish. If you have $2 laying around and you're bored, you know, maybe that could be.
And that's what they're counting on.
Exactly.
They're counting on those people who paid 800 points for Brain Age will want to drop those other 200 into like this.
Exactly, dude. It's all a formula, dude.
So next month, the big heavy hitters will be coming. No, they'll wait till October when the 3,000 points expire to bring out the heavy hitters.
Exactly. They don't want you blowing that 1,000 on something good. All right, so now that we've had mini reviews of Animal Crossing clock and calculator.
Well, that was an unexpected surprise. That was really cool.
See?
Yes.
I can even, it was nice to get the answer as to whether or not we could do the clock with it closed. So.
Yeah.
That was
driving me insane. Yeah.
I spent $2 on this show so that I could answer.
Well, no, you spent $4.
Well, a total of $4, but $2 for the clock.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what do you think? What do you make of the whole GBA? GBA. I can tell what we've been talking about. What do you think of this whole Grand Theft Auto sales thing, man? They're saying that sales are kind of low.
Well, I mean, people are saying it's because nobody's buying it. I mean, a mature title will not work on the DS, but I think it's the complete opposite of that. I mean, my theory, and I've actually read this in a couple places too. But when I first saw it, the first thing that popped in my head was that the GTA audience just doesn't own a DS.
Right.
I mean, more likely they're going to be owning PSPs. And you get these guys, the hardcore GTA guys, they're going to be the types that, they're not the hardcore gamers necessarily. They're the fly-by-night gamers that pick up Madden every year. They pick up a GTA every year. If anything, they'll have a console system like a PS2 or an Xbox 360, but they're not going to own a DS.
Yeah.
So I think that's ultimately what's going on here. I think that audience isn't there not because it's M-rated, but because they simply don't own a DS and they're not going to go out and buy a DS just to play it.
Yeah.
Because, they've already got to them, and plus I think a lot of them probably are thinking this is a DS, this is a kid's system.
Right. So do you think that the speculation that it's going to be a long-term sale? You think it's just going to fizzle out like a bad fart?
No.
Or do you think it's going to be a long-term?
No, I think it's going to be one of those titles, and I think that's one thing that's cool about the DS is that you could get a title like that may not come out real strong, but overall, you give it another year or two, and you're talking some decent sales.
Yeah.
It's just like when half these movies come home to video now. They don't bring home the bank at the theater, but then they come home to video. And after a while, they've amassed this small fortune. Look at Professor Layton. I mean, that came out almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it didn't sell very well. I think it kind of met their objective, but now look at it. I mean, it's like it's been in the number like within the top 5 spot on Amazon because of that stupid commercial with Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah.
So and that's what the other joke. Maybe they need to have Courtney Cox or Jennifer Aniston, on a couch or a lazy boy playing Grand Theft Auto.
Dude, I would pay money to see that.
Screw Beyonce and her stupid rhythm heaven.
Yeah, forget that.
Give her some real gangbang action,
Yeah, that would, dude. I'm telling you, I would totally. Oh man, I would love that. Get Nicole Kidman playing Grand Theft Auto. Have her not do her American voice either. Have her do that. What is she, Australian or British?
She's Australian. She's Australian.
Could you say, I killed the hooker. I killed the hooker. This. Oh, look at this.
Oh, they got this by Nintendo Census. It's a stone shaped like a penis on the beach.
Let's see.
Oh my! Oi! I found a vibrator in the dumpster.
Let's see. How much can I get for my?
Oh bloody hell!
How much can I get for my weed? Oh my God, dude! We could do this all day.
Why, these aren't Australian prices.
Yeah. Wait. Oh. I see that Serious Sam is having a sale on lewds. I better go get some. Let me see. Where's my car? I'm going to steal this car. Okay.
I need me some right smack right about now. Oops, I ran my dealer over. Oh. Grand Theft Auto, Chinatown Wars, now available for the Nintendo DS.
Nintendo DS and DSi. Oh my god.
Ding!
Dude, we need to be marketing the DS stuff. We could sell buttloads of this stuff. All right. Well, I was curious what your thoughts were on the whole GTA. I agree with you. I think it'll be a long-term seller. I think as the DS continues to infiltrate different markets.
The DSi's out too.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it seems like it's a big hit over in England. I mean, they seem like they love their GTAs over there too. So
that'll be good.
We didn't get the chopsticks that they did, but
that pissed me off too. I really wanted those chopsticks for my swag box. Hey, speaking of which, you mentioned something earlier. I just wanted to put this out. Buy.com has been having great deals on DS games. I know personally, I've picked up like 3 in the last like month and a half for like $6.99 a hit. And, a game has to, I mean, you can put up with a pretty, half-assed game for $6.99. I mean, what did I pick
definitely.
up? I picked up, Tank Beat, which is actually a decent game. It didn't get a lot of love, but Tank Beat's a pretty decent game. I got that. I got, that Teenage Zombies game I think I picked up for $6.99. So it may be worth occasionally, either hanging out at our forums at dualscreenradio.com, or because we talk about the deals all the time, or spend some time at buy.com once a week and see what's going on, because there have been some really sweet $6.99 deals, and a lot of times you get like discounted or free shipping. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know what else? Even Newegg will have some prices on there. They're free shipping too a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I know. It looks like GameStop's kind of winding down their Gamer Day sale.
Yeah, it finally ran down.
It's pretty disgusting too. They have like final clearance. They've got Touchmaster 2 for $24.99. Since when is that a clearance?
I know. It's like they have Touchmaster used for $19.99.
I hate that store. Oh.
It's like, what the hell is that? It's used and it's the same price as it is new. Now, hey, wait a minute. This segues right into the next topic I wanted to discuss. Apparently, out of nowhere, now you know as well as I do that Tetris DS has been like a chalice, a golden chalice for DS owners, because for like Nintendo, I guess, only had an option to sell it for like a year or something.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And they lost the license, so they haven't been producing any new ones. So Tetris DS goes from anywhere from, I've seen like $30, $35 all the way up to $55, $60 on eBay. And,
crazy.
If you want Tetris, you'll pay the money. The problem is there's a lot of people on eBay selling fake cartridges.
Yeah.
That's
even DS ones. Yeah. Even DS ones.
And that's too bad. But, recently at my GameStop, my local GameStop, there was a Tetris DS on the shelf. And I'm going, what the hell? I haven't seen one of these in months, maybe even years. And they're selling it, get this, for $44.95. Used.
It's disgusting.
Now, I talked to the guy, and this is nice because I have insides at my GameStop. And I said, dude, what did you guys actually give this guy for a trade-in on that? I said, you gave him a lot of money, right? Because that's a heavy-hitting, much-desired title. He's like, oh, yeah, we gave him a lot of money for that. And I said, so how much do you remember? He's like, well, let me go look it up. He clicks on the game. Yeah, we gave him $17 for it.
I'm going to cry.
I'm sorry. That is theft on a whole new level. I mean, I understand GameStop needs to make a profit, but like a 200-something% markup? Give me a friggin' break.
And the thing is, it's over retail price. I mean, it was a $34.99 game from their standard anyway.
Yeah, so they have a $10 premium and it was used.
Well, here's a guy on eBay. I'm looking real quick. He's got one brand new and sealed for $99.99.
Damn.
Oh wait, it's from Canada, so that means it's probably $25.99.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sorry, I just noticed that. But yeah, I mean, that's just a disgrace. And this is where it helps to, be, especially on the forum. I mean, it's cool that you can offer to help people like that, but at the same time, it's like, are you really helping them by offering them a $44 game at GameStop? You know what I mean?
I thought it was a rare deal, but then someone came up and said, well, my GameStop's got one. My GameStop's got two. And then I started thinking to myself, if GameStop really wanted to be a whore, which we know they already are, but what if we wanted them to be evil whores?
Here's
my latest conspiracy theory. Okay. GameStop knew ahead of time that Nintendo only had a license for a year on Tetris, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they bought up a whole bunch of them. They had them sitting in a warehouse. And they said, okay, listen, once these things are impossible to find, once everyone's getting $50 a hit for them, we're going to leak them into the stores at $44.95. They're new.
Sounds
We're going to call them used, right? They bought them for, $18 or whatever from Nintendo or whoever their distributor is, right? So then they'll say, listen, so even if we make them used and people get their 10% off, they're still going to be paying $40 a hit. That's more than we could have sold them retail for. So let's hold out. We know it's going to be rare. That's the thing. They knew it was going to be rare. That's like, shooting a fish in a barrel, right? It's a Nintendo title. Now, here's a funny thing that helps kind of corroborate my story. Do you know, and I did not know this until maybe a month ago, did you know it is standard practice for GameStop to take overstock games, quote, new games, the ones that have already been opened.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they take those new games, once they become overstocked and they're not moving, they print out a used sticker label, put a used sticker label on them, and move them from the new shelf to the used shelf. That's a common GameStop practice I did not know about until recently.
So just like yesterday when we were at GameStop and we saw Resident Evil 5 on the Xbox 360.
Right. Yeah.
They had it used for $54.99 and new for $59.99.
Yeah.
Think that's a similar idea, what they're doing there, that tactic?
It may very well be. Yeah. Most of the new releases they always do that with. But see, in that case, it's they're bringing in stock, right? People are bringing it back because they finished it. And then the game is still so hot they can put it right back on the shelf for $5 less, and they'll get that money. Someone will pay for that. But in this case, they're actually taking brand new games just to get them out of the store, just to get the stock moving. And they're knocking down $5 or $10 or whatever it is they decide, and just slapping a used sticker on it and throwing it in the used bin. Which
it just doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't they just take the new game and mark it down to $55 or something?
I don't know. So to me, that leads me to believe there's some bait and switch things going on anyway.
Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, with GameStop, who knows? But I thought that was a very interesting little slice. Because I was actually sitting there one time shooting the breeze and watching him do it. I'm going, wait a minute. You're just taking the new stuff off the shelf and just putting a used sticker on it? He says, yeah. I say, you guys do that a lot? And he's like, yeah. And let me tell you about the Tetris that I saw. The Tetris that I saw for being, how old is Tetris now? 4 years old?
Which one? On the DS?
Yeah.
No, it came out in March 06.
Did it? I thought it was a launch title. It wasn't a launch title.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm getting confused.
Because I didn't even get my DS until June of 05. So.
Okay, so it's almost 3 years old then. 2.5 years, 3 years old?
Yeah. Actually,
right?
it is 3 years old, yes.
Now, as a private collector of DS games, I keep my things meticulous, right? But I know most people don't. Anyway, this Tetris DS looked brand new. It wasn't shrink wrapped, but dude, all the manual was in there. It looked completely crisp. The cartridge looked completely crisp. The box had no wear on it. I don't know, dude. It looked like a brand new game. So I'd be curious if other of our listeners, next time you go into your GameStop, hop into your GameStop, see if they've got a Tetris, and then look at it. See if it looks like it's brand new. Because mine did. I'd like to get to the bottom of this particular story.
So in that respect, for $44, I mean, is it worth it?
I don't know. How bad do you want Tetris?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been looking on eBay while you've been talking. I mean, some of these prices aren't too bad, but like you said, you got to worry about. But then again, but here's the thing too, and here's the problem I have. Like, I was actually trying to hunt down a couple GBA cartridges at GameStop.
Yeah.
But then I stopped and thought about it for a second. Who's to say that some of these cartridges that are being traded in aren't fake? Mm-hmm. And it's been well known that they have been selling fake GBA cartridges.
Yeah.
I know. And then when you get to some of the titles, like say some of the GBA Pokemon games, they used to come in those colored case. I mean, the cartridge housings themselves were kind of a clear, opaque color. Like the fire red was red. It was a red case. And if you look, you see a lot of variations of those cases. Some are a little clearer, some are a little more fuzzy. And, which one is the legitimate one? And from that point, the only thing you can really do is go by the label itself to see if the label looks like it's photoshopped or is just mislabeled differently than a legitimate Nintendo product. And, who's to say that some of these DS carts aren't
It's
fakes?
completely possible.
This isn't who was it? I forget. One of the guys in the forum even reported that he went and got himself. I think it was his wife, a Tetris DS. I'm sorry, I forget who it was. It was a few weeks back. He got his wife a Tetris DS at on eBay.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was a fake.
Yeah.
It sounds like I think it worked or something, but
He said it was shady. He said it only worked every now and then.
Right, and I think it doesn't save or something. So, who's to say, that Tetris you're seeing at GameStop isn't a fake? And of course,
it looked legit. It looked like legit.
We have, return policy. Yeah, but the return policy, that you're stuck with it because they won't give you your cash back. They'll keep giving you store credit, so you'll never see that money again, ever.
Yeah, unless you want to take a big hit.
Yeah, so if you pick this up and it was fake, and you return it, you're going to get your $44.99 back. But then what? Then you see it somewhere else for $30, and you're not getting it because you already invested your $44.99 with GameStop. But
yeah.
I think the thing that makes me even more annoyed is the fact that they shrug it off. They're selling a fake illegal game.
Yeah.
And why isn't anything being done about that? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you're right. And while I've yet to see a fake game at GameStop, to be fair.
You can sit here and whine and bitch at GameStop all the day. Everybody does, and I think it's, of course everybody's like, look, yeah, we know. Everybody says that, but it's like, okay, but, that's.
Who's holding them accountable?
Right, unless you bitch about it, and the more you bitch, the more people will maybe know, and maybe people will stop shopping there. Although, last week I ended up making out on their little clearance sale, but I made sure it was a wrapped product. So
yeah, well, and that's the thing. GameStop is like so many other retailers. It's all a matter of you can get a good deal there, but you're not going to get a good deal unless you're a smart consumer. You wait for the sales, you wait for the good deals, you wait and you wait and you wait. And then, the stars have to align, Venus has to align with Mars, and the age of Aquarius is begun, before you get a good deal at GameStop. But, at the same time, sometimes GameStop's the only place you're going to get something.
Unfortunately.
That's what bothers me.
And get it in that you can just walk in and buy it and be out and done. You don't have to bid in and wait 5 days to see if you won.
Right. Or, order from Amazon. Not everybody has Amazon Prime. They have to wait, 2 days for the order to go through, 5 days for it to get there. Sometimes you want to just play the damn game.
But even on Amazon, on Amazon, you got to order something, and it turns out it's from another dealer.
It's like a third-party shopper. Then again, you're back to, am I going to get the real deal? This guy that bought the fake one on Tetris, the fake Tetris cartridge, the guy was gone when he went to hit him up, I think, right? The account was closed and.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, right. The guy got kicked off of eBay. Karma kicked his butt, but this guy's still out, $50. And he still has a fake Tetris DS cartridge. Yeah. So. There you go.
Well, in any case, let's see. Moving along, do you have anything else you want to add to I don't really know. Is there any other big stories? I've been trying to see if there's something else I wanted to talk about. I know those two big things were something. I don't know what can we expect from E3 this year. I don't really know. They've already spilled the beans on the DSi.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to probably premiere that virtual console.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
And what's going to be cool is, it's probably going to be one of the situations where they're going to say, we are launching the virtual console for the DS, and it is now live, and you'll be able to go in right now during the show and take advantage of it. Just like they did at the GDC with the Wii update.
I think that's a pretty much guarantee. I think we're going to see a couple of those venerable IPs that people have been whining about. They're going to pull the curtain back on the new Zelda more.
Oh, yeah, don't even get me started.
Yeah, I don't want to get you started on that. I know that pisses you off. They're going to talk about, I think they're going to talk about the strategic alliance they have with third parties. I think that they are going to talk about, I think the Wii Motion is going to be the big thing. They're going to talk about all the third-party support that Wii Motion already has, the Motion Plus, rather. I think a majority of their time at E3 is going to be on the Wii Motion, because already there have been talks about games using like Red Steel 2. What's EA's tennis game that's coming out?
Oh, well, no, they got the Sega's got Virtual Tennis coming out.
EA's got something, Grand Slam or something like that. That's
I don't know. I didn't see that one.
It will ship with a Wii Motion control add-on.
Oh yeah, because it's going to be like $80 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be pricey. But my guess is
because we're not all poor at the moment. You know, we
it's not. Yeah, we're not like just coming out of a recession for crying.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, I think also what we may see, honestly, is I think we're going to see the Wii Motion Plus equivalent of Wii Play. I think we're going to see a Wii Motion add-on with a disc full of little tech demos that have been put together. I think that we're going to see that, just like they got everyone to buy an extra controller with Wii Play. I think we're going to see the Wii Motion Play or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to really harp on the concept of absolutely brand new methods of playing games that you've never been able to do before, because that seems to be the big quiet buzzword that's going around now is, like Ubisoft and Red Steel 2, you know, they've snuck a couple press releases out where,
well, they shouldn't even bother with that now that they've, admitted there's going to be no blood.
I know, that's just so funny.
Dude, I mean, how can you not have limbs flying with a sword?
I know. You know what?
And you know what? I kind of liked the first one too. You know,
I kind of like the first one.
I played it all the way to the end. I beat it, and
yeah, well, I kind of liked it, but the concept of
gamer.
Or
ADD gamer, excuse me.
Yeah, the trailer that they leaked out. Have you seen that yet? The Red Steel 2 trailer?
No.
I gotta admit, I kind of got a little wood downstairs on that one, because the way that the guy was like taunting the other dude with the sword, I kind of got a little rush out of that. I hate to admit it, but it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know. Take a look at the trailer when you get a chance. Tell me what you think. But, so, you know, if they can really pull this one-to-one thing off and they can really make it immersive, I might be able to buy into the hype. But again, you know, how long is it going to take LucasArts to kick out an actual, you know, one-to-one lightsaber game? Because let's be honest, nobody gives a rat's ass about sword fighting. Nobody gives a rat's ass about karate games. They want a one-to-one lightsaber game, damn it. And that's what's going to sell the Wii Motion Plus to all of the gamers that aren't playing Brain Age.
You know what would be awesome is if they would bring out a port of the Star Wars Trilogy arcade machine. Remember that one?
That was awesome.
I love that, man. When you had, you know, it was like a trigger. I mean, it was like a flight stick control.
Yeah.
And I mean, it jumped everywhere between, you know, flying a X-Wing to being in the cockpit of it.
That'd be awesome.
Or shooting down TIE fighters to shooting down, you know, stormtroopers in the, you know, forest of Endor. But the best part was when you were actually taking hold of the lightsaber and having the one-on-one battles with Boba Fett and Darth Vader.
Yes,
that'd be so cool. Even just that. I mean, I would take that even with that minimal, you know, just that little minimal lightsaber gameplay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, you know, I think that there's a lot that they're going to be able to do with Wii Motion. I think that's what we're going to see a lot of at E3. For the DS, I think like you said, the big announcement's going to be the virtual console for the DSi. And they're going to give us some real taste of some, one or two, I say two maximum, two incredible DSi titles that are going to come. They're not going to tell us whether they're going to be DSiWare or they're going to be retail titles, but they're going to show us something on the DSi, one or maybe two titles. They're going to go, holy crap, that's coming off of a DSi. Just a prediction. That's what I think. That's what I got for my E3 speculations. I think it's going to be a lot of Wii stuff this year, to be honest with you. I don't think the DS is going to get a lot of love. I think they've already popped the cap on that. The other thing that we might get, the other thing that we may get from Nintendo, and this may come from a third party before it comes from Nintendo, but Nintendo will follow up with their own as soon as somebody else proves it can be done. I think there's going to become, you know that I took this on my phone.com site?
Yeah, that one I gave you the idea about, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking that we're going to see something like that for the DSi sooner than later.
Yeah, because that'd be awesome. I mean, I was playing with it. I was playing with it on my I forget where I found it. Oh, you know what it is? You know how I found it was on my BlackBerry.
Yeah.
They now have an app store. Okay.
Right.
It's a shameless ripoff of Apple, but whatever. I mean, it works pretty well, and there's a ton of free stuff, and they're actually pretty cool programs on there. I mean, they're not like farting applications or anything. They're actually some pretty cool little applications. I mean, there's one on there that little tools, that lets you do a full reset without having to pull the battery out, and little things like that.
Right.
But they're all free. And one of them was I took this on my phone, which is a little application you shovel in the BlackBerry, and I guess it can work on many different phones because I know they have a drop-down menu that when you go onto the site itself through your web browser, there's a drop-down menu you can choose from various phones. So you kind of clue it into that you have a BlackBerry, and then you have the app on the phone itself.
Right.
So it basically just sits in the background. I mean, you can load it up and view pictures and everything and the status and everything if they've been sent over or not. But the whole concept is as you take a picture, right after you take a picture on your cell phone, it zaps it right over the network onto the website.
Right.
Right onto a photo album that people can look at online.
Yeah.
And it also dabbles in that it'll resize and everything. I'm thinking my picture quality would probably be better if I zap this thing up to like a higher resolution, but I've been using like a lower resolution to kind of help with messaging pictures back and forth. I don't want to kill people's phones.
Right.
But it's kind of cool because as soon as you send it, it's poof right on the site. And yeah, that'd be great. I'm sitting there thinking, man, it'd be awesome if Nintendo had like even just a locker storage, like a Picasa thing or something where Picasa web, where you could take a picture in your DSi and snap it right over to your website. I mean, how cool would that be to like put a map or something?
I totally believe that that's coming, dude. I think that it's either going to be Nintendo's going to do it, or we're going to see a first party or third party product at E3 announced. That makes way too much sense for somebody not to do it. And my guess is, since we haven't already seen it, because how complicated is that? It's not very complicated.
You know what, though? We thought about this before. Remember we were saying the same thing about somebody bringing out a instant messaging application for the DS as well? Nobody ever did it.
Yeah.
We were always thinking, I mean, why aren't they bringing out like a Trillion or whatever, an all-in-one instant messaging app for the DS? Like for $20, you have all the instant messengers at your in your palm of your hand on the DS. I mean, how cool would that be? I mean,
well, the only thing that I can come up with on that one is the fact that the internet connection on the DS is not ubiquitous. So you have to be in a hotspot area.
Well, yeah,
in order to do that. But you'd have to do that with the pictures too. But what I'm saying is it's more of a matter of, it's not a real-time communication. You're at a party, you snap some pictures, you go home, you flop yourself on the couch, you hit your Wi-Fi spot, you upload your pictures to your album, and then you're good. It's not something that you have to respond to or do right now, So I think that, plus I think there would be a huge demand for that. I really do think that would actually add value to the photo system for people who aren't into the Kai's Power Goo crap that it does now.
Yeah.
Say, hey, listen, you're at a party and Bob photocopies his penis, he puts his penis up on the Xerox. You snap a picture of it. You got to share it as soon as possible. You hop on the company's Wi-Fi. You send it out. You're good. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't have any inside knowledge here.
Well, see, obviously that's the one thing that's cool about the whole cell phone, because you're always connected to a network in some shape or form, whether it's your cell phone provider or, in my case, the BlackBerry server. So you've got some kind of data connection. But I don't know. I mean, it's still, I mean, you're going to need some kind of, regardless. I mean, you've already got Opera DS, Opera browser in your DS. You're going to need a Wi-Fi spot for that. So, why not just take it one step further and add a full application of uploading pictures and instant messaging? I mean, I don't know.
It makes sense to me. I think
it's really goofy how they're ignoring certain markets. Unless, it also could be Nintendo's just hesitant to even allow a third-party company. For all we know, Ubisoft maybe already had an instant messaging, for instance, application, but Nintendo's against them releasing it because, they don't want it used the same way they don't have Pika Chat online. They're so afraid that people are going to get on there and just start molesting children.
Yeah, or sending nude pictures of themselves and being sued. Sexting. Yeah.
Yeah, you get those 14-year-old girls that end up getting guys in prison.
Yeah. Well, they're getting in their prison themselves now because they're trafficking child porn.
Exactly.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's exactly how it should be. It's great.
None of this, there's no consequences because you're 14,
Just because I happened to look at your MySpace page and saw you felt like putting a picture of yourself naked on it, now I'm going to jail?
Yeah, exactly. What's that
Nobody asked you to do that.
Yeah. You asked me, I didn't ask you. Okay, so
I'm the victim here.
I'm the victim. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Okay, so moving on here. I saw something the other day, and I have no idea. I think I shared it with you on Google Reader. It was an all-in-one DSi case plus rapid charger. Did I send that to you?
No, I don't think you shared it. I have your share stuff up here right now.
Crap. Where the hell did I find that?
I don't know, but I'm still trying to find that all-in-one charger that you were getting off of Amazon. I can't find that anymore. I tried searching left and right for that. I meant to ask you.
Oh, that the Hydra USB charger?
Is that what it is? The Hydra.
Well, it wasn't called the Hydra, dude. I just say that because it's got like 5 heads on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure enough, I typed Hydra and I'm getting all this weird stuff on Amazon.
You. Let me see if I can find that.
Hydra Texas Battle. Oh, okay.
That sounds pretty good.
Looks like a good movie Flair would like. It's one of those direct-to-Sci-Fi Channel movies.
Hang on a second. I just saw this thing like 2 or 3 days ago, and I swore that, let's see, what was it? It's out right now for the DS, and they've got a DSi one coming like in a month or two. And essentially what it was is, it's a snap-on case that you snap around your DSi. All the ports are left open. Mm-hmm. And there's a little dongle that you slide out and plug into your power port, and it charges your battery while you play. And then you take it back, and you can charge it up on any USB device. Yeah,
see, that's what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need a good USB charger for my DSi.
It was way cool. Now I can't remember. Let's see.
That's the other thing I would like to append to my DSi notes. I'm really upset that they changed the adapter yet again.
Yeah, that pisses me.
It doesn't make any sense either. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, has it changed that much that they had to change the adapter? I mean, it's just ridiculous. So now I have a DS Lite. My wife's got the DS Fat. I've got a micro. And now I have the DSi. So you're talking what, 4 adapters?
Yeah, and I'll be damned if I'm going to be able to find this thing now. But yeah, this looked actually kind of cool. I can't remember who the hell even made the thing. This is going to make me mental until I can remember where I saw this. Anyway, so yeah, it was a cool idea. I just and I guess like I said, they do have one out for the DS already. Yeah, it's gonna make me crazy. I'll figure it out and I'll share it.
Oh, I did find that, by the way.
What's
this
that?
Looks great. I'm gonna get to get this.
What's that? The 5-in-1 little Hydra charger thingy?
Yeah. It's $15.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, dude.
It charges your DS, your DSi, your DS Lite, your GBA SP, and any PSP.
Yeah.
And can also charge your handheld from any powered USB.
Right.
The fact that it charges the PSP is great because that means it'll charge my BlackBerry as well. So bonus there.
That's always a bonus.
It's a shame it doesn't do the micro, but micro is kind of a niche product anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So give them the ASIN number on that so that they can look it up. Because I know we're going to forget about it.
Yeah. I'll read it to everybody. It's B as in boy, 001, R, N as in Nancy, O, Q, M as in Mary, M as in Mary.
There you go.
And they're in stock at the moment from Amazon. It looks very cool. I'm going to have to see if I can maybe scrape one up because it's one of those things where it's like one USB adapter. It's a USB plug with 4 other connections all branched off it. As Shane would say, as a Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra head.
And and then it also comes with a USB wall, It's just one of those generic USB wall plugs. So that way you can use it for the wall, or you have a travel USB. I'm definitely gonna have to pick one of these up because I'm gonna have to bring this with me to map.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely handy. And I've used it to charge a DS Lite, a DSi.
I made a mistake.
What's wrong, buddy?
It is not. I thought it was going to have a mini USB. When I saw PSP, I assumed it was mini USB.
Oh, no, it's not. It is not mini USB.
It's the AC adapter plug.
It is. I'm so sorry. I meant to tell you.
Oh, that's painful.
Oh, hey, I found this thing. It's called Techno Creations, Tekno Creations. And let's see here. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. Tech case provides each game with a protective carbonite shell that is equipped with a built-in battery charger. Tech case designed to extend gameplay by 3 times longer while also protecting the exterior body. The tech case charges the battery using standard USB and can be charged via computer's USB slot. And it's due for the DSi on June 1.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see the DS Lite version. Okay.
Yeah, did you find it?
Yeah, well, yeah, here it is. I found it. Yeah, so basically this is a power base.
Yeah, it's a power base, but
so
it
you
also
charge
has
the
shell.
base. Yeah, you charge the base, and then you stick the DS Lite or DSi even into it.
Yeah.
Nice.
It looks fairly attractive. It makes it look a little bit thicker than a DS Lite, obviously, because they got to have some room to put the power in there. But yeah, it looks that looks pretty good. And I actually went to the Techno Creations website and checked it out. It looks sharp. So I mean, for those of you who are looking for something like that, take a look. That was one thing on my list.
I may actually get that instead. I mean, it's a nice little travel idea.
Power to play.
Nice.
Play. Yeah, it's in black and pink too, by the way.
So anyway, moving on a little bit. Let's move this along because we're running a little long in the tooth here. I think.
But aren't you having fun?
Yeah, I know. We're heading to a 2-hour mark, and people are going to demand bookmarks soon.
I know. How dare they?
But I want to get to a couple other things before I forget. Also, I wanted to find out I think it would probably be a good idea. We're not really going to be reviewing anything this show. We're still in between some titles, I think. I mean, I've been playing. I could probably review 1 or 2, but I know Shane doesn't have probably a similar opinion on them, so I don't want to do that. But I have been playing a couple games. I did finally open up Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and it's not. I think I mentioned it before. I wasn't digging the idea of the sprites being they're more CGI looking. They're not pixel art like they used to be in the GBA titles.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing the GBA version on the micro again. Because that's one of those games where I played like 20 missions, and then for some reason I just stopped playing. So now I got to restart again just to kind of, get back into it. I can never just jump right in the middle of a game. So to restart it all over. But I was giving Shadow Dragon a try, and it works. It's pretty decent. I mean, it's one of those titles. I don't know if it's getting a lot of attention, but it's not bad. It's a decent little strategy title. It's not one of the ones like Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, you take turns, you move your troops all at once. It's a lot of fun. The other one I've been playing is, and thanks to, I guess we'll give him a turbo in the forum, 2X or X2. Is it 2X? Yeah. He brought us into, he was mentioning one of the games was missing from the database, which was, Dragon Ball Origins. Now, I'm hardly a big anime manga fan or whatever that. I've heard of Dragon Ball. I'm sure you've heard of Dragon Ball, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I don't even own a Wii game of it that I've never opened because it's like $3.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, that says a lot about the brand, huh?
Yeah.
So anyway, I checked into it, and after the fact, 'cause I'm like, wow, I think I remember seeing something about this game, and I checked into it. It's actually a lot of fun. I've been pretty hooked on it, actually. I think I'm about 15 levels into it. It's like it goes into stages. You got world 1, stage 1, 2, 3, so forth. And it's kind of cool because you can play and polish off a stage in pretty much one game session. Probably takes about 20 minutes to a half hour even. But they're fun to pick up and play. Now, and also you can save anytime, which is always nice. But the thing I was kind of surprised at is how much they stole from Phantom Hourglass. There's a lot of Phantom Hourglass in this game. It's all touch-based control. You move around with the stylus, you slash with the stylus, and of course in this game, if you have any kind of idea about what the Dragon Ball is, it's all a bunch of guys fighting, various I guess for all intents and purposes karate, type powers, but it's totally over the top. In this game, it starts back at the beginning of I guess the whole series, which I think is from the early '80s, and you're running around, you're playing this character, and you're running around. It's all action oriented with some small puzzling involved, with moving some blocks to trigger up, doors to open and so forth. But it's mostly all action, and you have like some minor protection where you have to protect an AI character who actually does help out a little bit. It's a lot of fun though, but the gesture is all straight from Phantom Hourglass, with the movement and the slashing and the tapping on the enemies. You tap on an enemy and they're going to punch. It's a pleasant little surprise, and it goes for about $20, so it's not bad at all. It looks like it's got a lot of depth to it. It's got a long gameplay, so people may want to check it out. Yeah, you don't even need to be involved with the IP. It's just a fun little game. Very surprised.
Yeah, I got into it just a little bit. And I felt it was a lot like Ninja Gaiden DS, which works for me because I kind of like the way that controls. Mm-hmm. But I've only finished like the first stage, so I really don't have a lot of. I have to move around a lot to different stuff if I want to get it all in. So
well, that's what I'm saying. You're you're an ADD gamer. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm in that. I fall into that group once in a while myself.
Yeah, I get all jittery and I have to like take a look at everything.
Well, like I got 50 hours into Fallout 3 on the Xbox, and I still haven't finished it. And I don't even know if I'll ever get back to it. It's been a couple months now. I totally forgot what I was doing, and I guess I'll have to start all over.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's fun though, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been breaking into my other games in the meantime. So what have you been up to? What have you been playing over there?
Honestly, that damn Bird and Beans has been, that damn Dr. Mario Express, as I mentioned earlier. I've been playing a lot of that. Let me see. Let me fire up the old DSi here and I'll tell you what I've been up to. I fell back in love with Touchmaster 2 again. The Super Maquis just made me its bitch once again.
Super Maquis.
I found even more little strategies for it, so it's absolutely sick. Of course I got into Chinatown Wars for a while.
Yeah.
I took a look at an import called Big Word Puzzle Book, 'cause I'm really into these search and find word games and things like that. And I think you and I talked a little bit about that. Being a word hunt game is good, but everything else is kind of...
Yeah, I love Seeker words, so I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah, I'm a total slut for that sort of thing. Let me see what else I've been goofing around with. I know what I played for a while. I got sucked into this, and it's called Touch Mechanic. Have you been into that yet?
No. This sounds like it's on my alley.
Yeah, it's probably not up your alley. Touch Mechanic is
it an Imagines game or what?
No. This is from Aspire. It is basically a virtual mechanic game, a car mechanic. Mm-hmm. And it's got this really goofy ass storyline. Well, it's not goofy, I guess. It's just, who needs a story for this crap? You're a budding young mechanic. You've been, you're on the street for some reason. No one knows why, but you're like in trouble with the law or something. And this, old grizzly mechanic takes you under his wing and he puts you to work fixing up cars. And everything is exactly the way I would imagine it would be for a virtual mechanic sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Right. So he'll start you off doing real simple stuff like changing out tires, and everything is done through touches and gestures. It's very slick. I mean, I don't know what sort of longevity it's going to have, but like you have to actually turn the lug nuts to take them off of the wheel. It's got a little feel of, Trauma Center. Auto. It's got some Trauma Center feel to it. It's except for instead of working on bodies, you're working on cars.
So the car lifelines and all? I mean,
the car doesn't lifeline, but
does it lose its oil?
Yeah. Sort of. Get this. So I kind of like this. This is actually kind of cool. The guy says, listen, I'm going to pay you by the job, and any money you have left over after the job is yours. Right? So he starts you off, let's say that changing the tires is $150, right? So you have that's your countdown timer. It starts at $150, and as you're doing the job, the money starts dropping off. Right, so it goes to 149, 148.
So depending on how soon or how fast you complete your mechanical mission,
yes,
you're going to get paid.
You're going to get paid more, and you have to pay for parts and things like that. As you use the parts, that gets deducted as well. So it's sort of like the faster you are, the more accurate you are, the less paint you waste, things like that. The more money you're going to make on each gig. I was completely hooked into this. I mean, I can't explain to you why essentially going to work as a mechanic on the DS. I mean, because that's like work. It is work. I don't understand why that sucked me in, but I played that thing for 2-3 hours, and it's like I'm like totally hooked into this thing.
Yes. Casual gaming
at its best. But I thought, because I said a long time ago, and somebody reminded me of this on the forum, that I had actually asked for this game. I said if you really wanted to make a cool game, you'd make an automotive game where you actually did the work. And sure enough, I swear to God that people in the industry haunt our forums, dude. Because I ask for something and I get it. But yeah, I mean,
do you get news crews coming in with hidden cameras to see how you're ripping customers off?
I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. I've gotten that far. I've actually.
Can you stick a fish? Can you stick a fish in the radiator?
That'd be awesome. No, you can't do that, but it's pretty fun game.
Grand Theft Auto.
You might want to try that out. I've got, I can't say anything yet. Damn it.
Mr. Secretive. Yes.
Yeah, I've got some information on Dragon's Lair for the DS, but I don't know exactly what I can and can't say.
You better hold it for the next show.
I'll probably hold it for the next show, but I'm hoping by the next show that I can actually give you some interesting information with regards to Dragon's Lair.
Nice.
So by the way, if you really got the hots for Dragon's Lair on the DS, you might want to actually get on the forums at dualscreenradio.com and hang out there, because as soon as I get information, I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to wait for the next show. I will have exclusive worldwide access to this information, and you will see it first at Dual Screen Radio. So keep that in mind if you're a big Dragon's Lair slut and you can't wait to see what's going on. So we have an exclusive. So anyway, all right, that's about it. All I had for that. Yeah, so touch mechanic is the only thing I've really put a lot of time into on the DSi since the last show. Well, of course, the Bird and Beans and the Dr. Mario sons of bitches.
Yeah, every time I seen it load up the DSi, I head right over the Bird and Beans.
Yeah, I gotta have a little bit of that. I gotta have a little bit. It's like crack for me. I've got to have just a little bit, and sometimes I have more than a little bit.
A little more beans.
More beans.
Mm-hmm.
More
than birds. Yeah.
Or the bird and the bean. Is it the Frank the Beans? Yeah. I love that movie. Okay.
So should we wrap it up by discussing real quick, maybe like some about about the whole homebrew scene? It's not really a homebrew scene so far, but
yeah, we can give kind of an update on that.
We still, I mean, one of the big things for me buying the DSi was I wasn't about to buy a DSi unless I could replicate the whole taking of my games with me all at once, you know, and early on that seemed to be a problem because there was no cyclo compatibility with the DSi. Yeah. And going back to resorting to carrying maybe 5 or 6 games at the most at one time was not something that I was looking to revisit again anytime soon.
No.
Back when I first got the DS at launch and I had to carry this man pack around, this man sack full of all these little easily lost cartridges, I'm not dealing with that again. I just refuse. I don't care what the legality of it is. You know, if I own 80 whatever plus games, you know, I want to be able to just carry whatever I can at one time and just pop it open and play the game that, depending on the mood I'm in, you know? I mean, that's one cool thing about something like Xbox Live Arcade, or even now about the DSiWare. I mean, you can open the DSi and you have the games already on the screen, you know?
Yeah.
And that's basically what this is, but just taking it a step further. Luckily now the Ace card people have come out with a device that's compatible, and in some ways it's just as well done as a cyclo. It's obviously missing some features that I'm sure Shane would be happy to explain, but the fact that I can now carry my games again on the DSi is just awesome. All these games at one place. just run down the list and factor in the fact that the DSi can now, you can kind of pull a Wii home screen now on the DSi is really awesome. You don't have to cart shuffle in terms of if you want to change games, you just give a quick tap click on the power button of the DSi. Yeah, I'm mumbling my words. And it's getting to be lunchtime, and my skinny butt needs some food. So, anyway, you give that a quick tap, and you're right back at the DS home screen without having to reboot the whole system. So that makes it immediately a lot quicker to get to another game. I also love the fact that it doesn't take a long time to load this card up. I mean, that's one thing that drove me nuts about the Cyclo, honestly, is the fact that I had to sit there and go through this long load up process of it. Yeah. Like, it's gathering, I guess, everything from memory, right? So, but it's working out pretty well, at least I guess until Nintendo nails it on the next firmware.
Yeah, which is pretty much guaranteed to happen. But
that's probably going to be the trade-off. Come E3, you're probably going to have to update your firmware to get access to the DS Virtual Console. But in the interim, they're going to kill the Ace card, So, but these guys are working pretty hard. It seems they've got a separate a group of guys doing hack drivers that are faster than getting what the Ace card people are getting out. And they're updating. It seemed like almost every other week or so they were updating this thing.
Yeah. The community's pretty quick on getting game compatibilities and things like that fixed. I'll give you the long and short. Now I've got a review of the Ace Card 2i up off of the forums, and you can kind of get a lot of more information just by hitting the forums. The long and short of it is what you're going to lose. Okay, there's a loss and a gain here. The pros, of course, is it works with the DSi. It also has a lot of management stuff built into it, like deleting, moving, copying files around, which is something that I really wish the Cyclo had. It also has Wi-Fi update abilities, so you can always update the loader and the cheat database without ever actually having to take the card out. That's huge. That's a cool thing. Now, what do you give up with the 2i? You give up any sort of in-game freezing. In other words, you can go back to the main Ace card menu from anywhere, but you cannot freeze the game. You cannot do a real-time save. You can't pause the game, change the brightness level. This is on a DS, not the DSi. But you can't change the brightness level from within the game. You can't open up a text reader and look at a walkthrough or something in the middle of the game, which all of those things you can do with the Cyclo. However, of course, you've got the trade-off. The Cyclo is a more premium card, and they have been kind of on the cutting edge. And I can guarantee you, I do have some inside knowledge, but I just don't know how much I can actually talk about without getting in trouble. I think that Team Cyclo believes that the exploit that Ace Card and everyone else is using to get in and run software, they believe that Nintendo's not going to leave it open very long, and it's so easy to fix that they would almost have to be silly not to. So I think what they want to do is find a solution that allows the exploitation and the running of backup games on the Cyclo without resorting on that particular hole.
Right. So when that fizzles out, they'll be right behind with the solution almost immediately.
Yeah. And so, in other words, what's going to happen is come E3, probably a week before E3, Cyclo's going to dump out their DSi system. E3 is going to come. All the firmware is going to be pushed out. Everyone's going to upgrade their firmware. The Ace card's going to stop working, and the DSi, the Cyclo DSi will be the only card standing on the street. That would be my guess based on some of the information that I have. Mm-hmm. So those people who are thinking, I'm not going to jump until I can get Cyclo, the Ace Card 2i is a very, very decent card. It's a very decent price.
Yeah, I mean, considering for the price, it's actually very, very good quality.
I totally agree.
It's not an R4, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely not an R4. It's definitely premium. But at the same time, my guess is that whatever Team Cyclo comes up with, and again, don't know anything for sure, but I'm believing that it's not going to be a simple firmware upgrade. You're going to be buying another cartridge. And the reason being is they can't exploit what they need to exploit using the current hardware. Mm-hmm. Just a guess. So my guess here's what I'd recommend. Get the Ace Card 2i now. You can get them for like anywhere between $18 and $22 if you look around. Right? That's nothing. That's throwaway money. let that carry you over until the Cyclo product drops. And then when the Cyclo product drops, be prepared to drop that $40-50 because you know it'll be a quality product and you know it's going to outlive the other cards. Just my recommendation. But yeah, that being said, I'll tell you what, you know the best thing about the Ace Card 2i? The thing that makes it like almost totally own?
Let me guess.
Tell me.
The auto trimming?
Auto trimming.
Now,
I
let me
am
ask you
so
something.
lazy.
I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to figure it out. I thought it trimmed when you run the game.
Yeah, but you have to turn it on though. You have to turn it on inside the settings, and it's kind of buried if I remember right.
I thought I did. Oh, okay. Can you do it from the INI file?
I have no idea. All I know is that I jumped in there and I found it. It's like, oh, no kidding. And that is so handy because, I mean, I have a bunch of automated things that let me trim as I copy, but I figure I don't have to now.
Yeah, it's great. You just drag and drop
and be drag and drop and I'm good. So.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to turn that on.
Yeah. Plus, there's a whole bunch of things. Here's something else that I really like is that it does games on a per game basis. So you can actually set up certain things to be on or off based on the game itself versus, system wide.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of having one big grand option, you can do a specific setting per game.
Which I think is great.
Yeah. The other thing that's pretty cool is the use of the top screen too. I mean, they have a nice full out calendar and the clock and everything's up there. I just think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
not just some wasted screen.
Yeah, it's very slick, to be sure.
Serves some purpose. But the little sub menu when you hit the start button, that's pretty cool. Now, so I can choose the trim option somewhere in there. Is that what you're saying? It's actually in the.
It's somewhere inside the card. Yeah, I remember turning it on.
Interesting, because I've noticed none of my ROMs or whatever you want to call them, the
game images,
trimming. Yes, they're not trimming.
Interesting. Yes, indeed. All right, well, that's about all I had really for the whole flashcard thing. I just wanted to give everyone kind of an update so that people weren't like totally wigging out and why isn't Cyclo doing anything? And everyone's all disappointed. It's like, dude, trust me, Cyclo doesn't want to do this half-assed. I know that everyone's uptight about it, but trust me on this one. When they come out with one, it'll be done right.
Yeah. Well, by the time they come out with one, maybe I'll finally decide if I want to eBay one of my 2 copies of Tetris DS.
Nice. Make the money for that.
Yeah, man.
Too funny. Well, listen, man, that's about all I got. How about you? Anything else you want to finish up with?
I don't think so. I was reading one little blurb about Retro Gaming Challenge. Did you see that?
I have not seen. I know.
The company who released Retro Gaming Challenge or Retro Game Challenge, saying that Retro Game Challenge 2 may not be seeing the light of day over here due to the fact that the game has not sold well enough for them.
Oh,
so
it's too bad.
To me, on one hand, you're almost thinking, well, wait a minute, are you saying this because, you're trying to say, hey, we need more money, Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the game's already made. These guys aren't even making the game. They're just translating it. And I'm wondering, how much does that really cost?
Yeah, maybe it costs more than we think.
Obviously, they're not putting a lot of money into advertising because there was no advertising for Retro Game Challenge. So, I don't know, whatever. It's not like it's costing them millions of dollars. I mean, I know they're a small company and all, but, it seems like everybody's been buying this game up. But then again, at the same time, I mean, it's kind of a niche title. I mean, this isn't a title that everybody and their mothers right. You're not going to see Lisa Kudrow playing this game on evening news or whatever, between commercials on the evening news, rather. I mean, this is a niche title for a very, very strict type of gamer. I mean, a gamer who not only has that nostalgia, but is also a gamer on the DS nowadays. I mean, so I don't know. It's a shame too because it looks like the sequel is going to be a lot better, or is a lot better, and you're going to probably need some Japanese training to play it. Just like we were going to mention out in Japan. The WarioWare where you can make your own Wario levels and everything.
Yeah, I actually had that written down. I wanted to talk about all the porn crap that people are making.
Oh,
Have you seen any of that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's so funny, though.
This is a family show. We won't tell you what we've seen.
The stuff with and then the use of the Mario sounds.
It's
and
it's fantastic. I mean, it's not fantastic if you're not into that sort of thing, but I think it's funny as hell.
Oh yeah, well, some of the ideas we've all had are pretty on the edge anyway. I think.
Yeah.
But needless to say, there's perverted Japanese people who love to sniff girl panties.
Used girl panties.
Yeah, used girls' panties out of vending machines. They've obviously met their fun in this game.
Yeah, I think, in fact, if there's not already a used panty vending machine mini game, or you know what, oh, dude, I got it. Listen, how about a crane game where you actually drop the crane to grab women's panties, grab dirty used women's panties?
I mean, you could take the very least innocent one, like where you blow the microphone to blow the girl's skirt off or something. But,
there's so many.
That's not even close to what we're talking about. If you want to see some of them, Go Nintendo's been posting a lot of them.
Yeah.
No, they're only just, I think they're grabbing them off YouTube anyway, so it's not like they're exclusive to them. But
not safe for work.
Yeah.
To say the very least.
But the game is called, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
It's like roughly translates into made in ore or something like that.
Yeah. Or
what are they going to call in the U.S.? WarioWare?
I think that translates to whatever your perverted mind can imagine. Right?
Absolutely. Actually, I think that may be what it actually translates into. WarioWare perverted mind. Well,
it's a shame because I was thinking about how cool this would be to come over, but at the same time, I don't know, man. This might be one of those games that might just be a lot to translate, and they may not be bringing this over.
I thought they'd already announced they were bringing it over.
Oh, where did you see that?
I don't remember. I thought I'd seen that, though. Maybe I could be totally wrong, dude.
Yeah,
I've been totally wrong before.
I don't know if we're going to be getting this game over here. I mean, because there's a lot of Japanese in this, man. The thing that's kind of cool, though, is it does have its own set of Wario levels. I mean, all the characters are back.
Yeah.
So it is its own Wario title. I think my problem is, though, like, you get this real tiny little descriptions, like, like we said, jump, move, right?
Yeah.
They're all in Japanese, so.
Yeah, that just adds one extra challenge to it.
Yeah.
I thought I heard it was going to be called WarioWare Myself.
Well, I think that's I just think that's, I don't know if that's the American name for it. I think that's just
Oh, you think that's what it is? Maybe I got confused.
I think that's just like a subtitle for the game, more or less, sometimes you get these games, they have the same, they have like multiple names for them over there, so. It's a shame. Anyway, if you guys are interested, I mean, you can look on YouTube. People already have the videos up of the game. It's a lot of fun looking. But there's so much Japanese. I can't imagine how you're going to be able to create mini games out of this in Japanese. I mean, you got the music creation device in there. You got the sprites. I mean, everything. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up, right?
Yeah, I think we're about done.
Yeah.
Hope everyone enjoyed the show. We will be back next month, hopefully with a more.
Yeah, we've been on time, man. We've been monthly.
Hopefully next month we'll be able to come back to a regular, more stringent format, and Chris and I can sit down and actually sit down and create, linear content that we can actually get out without talking around ourselves.
Well, no, I think there's a nice change of pace. I think.
We keep everybody.
I think people like this kind of like open format stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe that's the way we'll do it for a while.
It's a shame we're on. I'm using Skype. It's unfortunate, of course, but it'd be kind of cool if we could have gotten some call-ins. We'll have to try that sometime.
We'll have to try that sometime and see how it works.
Yeah, I've heard people in other podcasts have used it on other media casting shows. That is. Yeah. So. All right. Anyway.
All right. Well, gang, that's going to wrap it up.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And this is Shane R. Monroe.
And this is Chris Hentschel. And I guess the next time we hear from you, E3 will probably be done and over with. So.
Yeah. We'll have lots of new info.
Yep.
All right. Take it easy, everybody.
www.dualscreenradio.com.
Thank you. www.dualscreenradio.com. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye.